Shine, shine, shine a light. Shine, shine, shine a light. Shine a light. Yeah. Shine, shine, shine a light. Shine, shine, shine a light. Shine, shine, shine a light. Ba, 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 bow. Oh. I'm going to change the chat from top chat to all chat.
Oh, that helps.
To live chat. Live chat.
Okay.
I think we're live.
I think we're live. Sometimes it takes a second for it to tell people.
Did it tell you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, here comes people.
Hello, everybody. Oh my god, hey.
Hello. Oh, and we're live on here now.
Oh my god, hey. Oh my god, hey.
We're double screening again. If you watched our live, was it last week?
It was.
Yeah, if you watched our live last week, we're on them both.
We are both trying to commit to being live and accessible on the internet on a semi-weekly basis. It's like office hours.
On a semi-weekly basis.
As in, like, on a pseudo-weekly basis.
Yeah, if
like
we can do weekly.
We're trying to do it on a weekly basis. Hello, Dylan.
Hello.
Dylan, I'm excited to see you again soon. September, right?
Do you think that's in the best location?
I think so, sure, yes. Good evening from Catford. Good evening in Catford. Catford. Jonathan, did you ever see The Grinning Man? There's a great joke in The Grinning Man about Catford, and now it's all I think about.
Oh, Dylan flies out next week.
Fly next week. Dylan, we will see you. We need to make plans. Hello from the Lake District. Hello in the Lake District.
Where's everybody watching from?
Yes, tell us where you're joining from. I'm writing a musical. How exciting.
Very fun.
I went on a lovely family holiday to the Lake District in 2008. You're from near that part of the world, so I bet you've probably the Lake District. Have you been to the Lake District?
Many times, but it's not close to where I'm from.
You're nearer. Nearer. I'm from the South Coast.
I'm from the middle of the country.
So you're nearer.
I mean, in a very weird technicality, but I wouldn't say I'm close to the Lake District.
I didn't say close. I said nearer. Apologies, you're having to watch this, everyone.
Edinburgh's closer to the Lake District.
I said you're from nearer to that part of the world. Where is the someone tell me where the line is.
Near is a question.
Nearer. It was comparative language.
I know, but I don't want to teach people the wrong level of geography.
I shouldn't be teaching anyone geography. Colchester. Hello in Colchester. Oh, hello, Alex.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Newcastle. Hello, York. Do we know anything about the 6 Pro Shot yet? We don't, and I haven't seen it.
No. Sadly.
I know it exists.
Oh, do we think Two Strangers will do a UK tour?
I don't think UK tour. I think with Two Strangers...
We think it'll go to America first.
And I think it should. I think that would be a lovely thing for it to do. Have a little
I could see it trying to do a UK tour, but I feel like for it to do a UK tour currently, in its current place, it would need a name and like well-known names to like general public, because the show I don't think is well enough known for the type of tour that it would want to do.
Hello in New Orleans. I would love to visit New Orleans.
Hello from Orlando.
Do you get good theatre in New Orleans? Oh, thank you for the... Is this a super chat?
Yeah, that's a super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Hi, Mickey and Aaron. Massive fan from South Essex here. Whereabouts, if you don't mind saying? I've been to various parts of Essex. You inspired my love of Broadway musicals. I especially love your cat's costume. Hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you. I'm proud of that cat's costume. One day I thought about... There's like people on Etsy that make like replica realistic cat's costumes. And I thought, maybe when I turn 30, we'll have musical theatre, fancy dress, joint birthday party, and I will be a cat from Cats. I think.
I mean, you can't be a train from Starlight Express because you're banned from.
I'm not allowed to. No. I'm not allowed to wear roller skates.
Thank you so much, Sam, for the rose.
Oh.
If you didn't know, we're dual live streaming.
We're live right now on my YouTube channel. Oh my god, hey everybody! We're also live on Aaron's TikTok.
And I just got a rose towards my light. Rose. There's a thing. I'm still getting used to it. Every live I do, I explain this, but it's like
coming up roses.
There's like there's like challenges. there's like numbers that you have to get to. So I don't think you can say that out loud, but that's very funny.
Questionable. I'm not doing the 24-hour musical thing this year because the venue isn't doing it this year, and it's very dependent on the venue because they lock us in the theatre overnight. If you don't know, this is something I do every year. I do a 24-hour musical, and the last one was Cats. So next September, basically, this time next year, hopefully, I'll be doing another one. But more places should do them, although it is a significant undertaking. Do we know anything about Leeds Conservatoire? They do great work with new musicals.
Yes,
because doesn't Gus do
yeah.
stuff?
We've been hearing that they've been doing a lot of.
Yeah,
we did enjoy Alex Newell. It was she was incredible. And the diva tag is like the most epic thing I've ever seen, which was Alex Newell and Marisha Wallace tapping each other while singing and I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And it was like one sang a bit and then tapped, and then the other one would carry on. And I was just like, B-level. I mean,
it was so fun.
When the two of them harmonized on the hardest part of the song, and Marisha went up higher than Effie sings, I was like, what?
And I've loved Marisha doing all the like Guys and Dolls and Rodgers and Hammerstein concert, but it's been lovely.
How healthy her voice is.
I know. I saw Marisha.
Yeah, me too.
In Dreamgirls. You saw all of them. I only saw Marisha.
I saw all
the London one.
I saw all four of the main Effies.
But it was really nice to hear her sing like that again. And Alex Newell, my goodness. So we went to see Alex Newell.
Alex Newell's incredible.
At Cadogan Hall.
Yeah.
And the set list. My goodness, the set list. To give us just one of those performances would be show-stopping in its own right. But to do that set list, and it's like, oh, and here's Meadowlark, and here's Independently Owned, and here just here's I Am Changing, and here's And I Am Telling You. Just amazing, absolutely amazing. Nobody sings like Alex Newell. We need to be building shows and roles around that talent. Dreamgirls, Broadway revival, Alex Newell, Effie, Joy Woods, Dina. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
It would be incredible.
And the guy who's Sidney James Harcourt, was he Rum Tum Tugger in Cats, Jellicle Ball?
I think so.
He can be Curtis.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Chuck him in it.
Will I be keeping the hair colour? Yes. But it is starting to grow out, so
I need to re-dye his
when
head.
I get it cut next, we'll re-dye it so that I don't end up with like too much of a two-tone.
Yeah, you're not seeing my hair at the moment because I liked the short haircut. I know not everyone did. I know not everyone was sold on it. I thought it was cute. It's now like I'm a fuzzy peach, and it's that awkward in-between thing where I can't style it yet, but it's too long to be cute. What's this tag on my hat? What's going on here? I just keep seeing the underside of... This was $35 apparently. Oh no, I've torn it in half.
Oh, I'm missing things. Sorry. Yes, the director's story was a lot. I think everybody that could figure out what Alex was talking about was like, what?
I think we're seeing Frozen tour soon. Oh. How exciting. OMG Hey from Utrecht, the Netherlands, where Moulin Rouge is opening next week. Enjoy the Moulin Rouge. Is that non-replica Moulin Rouge? Just saw a clip of Claire Marie Hall smashing rehearsal for Spies concert. That's Spies Are Forever. God, she's good.
Ooh,
Isn't she just? I love Claire.
Have you seen a musical on Royal Caribbean? No,
but I want to. And they do Cats. Much as I loved Cats, the Jellicle Ball, loved it. I still unironically love.
It must be nerve-wracking doing Cats at sea, because I keep thinking, how crazy must it be performing with turbulence, but especially with one where it's ballet.
I think
you're not very grounded at all with ballet shoes.
It would be stressful being a.
I just realised you got a sticker on you.
I'm being Bobby from Company because it says 35.
I was like,
I'm giving you references. I think being a ballet dancer and like technique and like your career and stuff
I've gone up to 20 roses.
Oh, that's so many roses. I think that would be stressful and like worrying about injuries. But Cats is one of the easiest ones because you fall down, you can style it out. You're a cat.
That's true.
Just like, oh, I've fallen and then I'm crawling around. Starlight Express.
Oh no, Starlight Express, it'd be too much of a hazard. You'd have to put so many railings up to divide the stage from
Or like you're playing Killer Queen and We Will Rock You and you just like fall on your head, wig comes off. There's no bringing that back.
But I still think this with Disney though. Like when they did like the Toy Story musical and stuff, I'm thinking,
what, someone's head coming off?
Sight vision must be crazy.
Well, yeah. It seems like a lot. It seems like, listen, those cruise performers are working hard. Veronica, I'm very sorry. I don't know if you're still here or if you did indeed go to bed. I'll be. Any news that you've missed? Have we had much news today? Getting some nautical news in the morning.
We did get some news. There was quite a bit of news today. Yesterday we got the Heathers news.
We did.
And then today we got Moulin Rouge casting.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Let me catch up.
Lucia said, random, but I'm going to New York soon. Broadway recommendations, never seen any theatre.
If you've never seen... It looks like Elvis on TikTok. If you've never seen any Broadway shows, good first Broadway shows, I would go see The Great Gatsby as like a first...
I think
That's a great first Broadway show, I think.
It gives... I kind of always try and ask people, are you looking for like... Especially if it's British friends, I'm like, are you looking for what you think of as Broadway? So are you looking for like big chorus line, big ensemble, big dance numbers?
And I would add, if you don't know if you're really much of a theatre person, if you've never seen any theatre, you want a light first foray, 6. Go see 6. Perfect. Idyllic. Lovely.
And also good if you're not sure if you love theatre because it's one act.
Yeah. Geography with Mickey Jo would be a great comedy series and just wildly inaccurate.
Thank you everybody on TikTok for the badges and the roses. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Truly everything is coming up roses. What do you think about the new West End cast of Moulin Rouge? Natalie Kasanga is going to be incredible. She's going to be great. I still think they cast, I was going to say Christine Fontaine Satine. We got there. I still think it was one of the Eanes.
No, that would be really good in a Forbidden Broadway. Have them as a trio, and you know, like how like you have the characters with the.
You need 3 more
trio,
and rather than the 6 queens, make them the 6 Eanes. Christine Fontaine Satine. Give me some more Eanes. Is there someone called
Eponine?
Eponine. Is there a Geraldine? There must be a Geraldine.
What's the name of?
I mean, there are other Christines.
Oh, no,
there's a Christine in. Yeah, there's a Christine in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and there's a Christine in Be More Chill, because there's so many musicals where the name Christine is sung. Christine. Anyway, yeah, very excited. Still haven't seen Dom Simpson in Moulin Rouge. I'm sure
kind of
he's
missed
lovely.
this whole run.
He's got nice. I like this hair length on him. That's entirely beside the point, but I think he looks great. Oh, miss you, Marcus. We saw Amy today, unexpectedly.
Yeah, we were at a film premiere today.
We were.
It was very different.
We just saw a film, and I signed an embargo.
Yeah, he cannot talk about it.
Don't ask me, because there's snipers trained on our location right now from Lionsgate. Ooh. Even that is too much.
A good question. Has anybody been to the theatre this week?
Has anybody been to the theatre? Tell us what you've seen at the theatre. And before you send us many of those...
let's keep up on your side.
Catch up. What do you think about Kit Connor starring in Romeo and Juliet on Broadway? Are you going to make a New York NYC trip to see it? There's so much coming this autumn. All will be revealed very soon, because I'm about to do a little bit of a life update video coming soon where I'll officially say all these things, but yeah. Currently watching you both to get my mind off knowing there's a massive spider in my bungalow. Oh, that's not ideal. There was a giant spider on that window the other day, and I went to go and move the blind. It was right next to my hand. However, it's very hard because this flat gets very warm, and so we want to open the windows, but if it's light inside and dark outside, we'll get flies. And the spiders stop the flies. Yeah. So the spiders, though they be looking scary, are ultimately our friends.
Oh, look, you're gonna...
I don't know what that means.
Somebody just put, was in the audience for all of the 3 Death of Englands the same day as you, and I'm scared to spot myself in your video.
Oh, there's not many audience shots.
Dinosaur.
How cute. Which one did you enjoy the most of the Death of Englands? Did you have a ranking? Because I had a discernible, like, oh, that one's great. That one I wasn't as sure about. Very intrigued. Oh, I do a history degree, so 6 is probably a good shout. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Someone said Eponine. There you go.
4 musicals in 3 days.
Nice. I've been neglecting YouTube questions. What else do we have here? Fingers crossed, Cats the Jellicle Bull will come to London. It would fit perfectly in the bridge after Richard II. It would. The demographic, the audience makeup of the bridge, I don't know how they'd feel about Cats the Jellicle Bull. It is not a young demographic. Generally speaking.
I think as well. I think they'd have to. I think Cats the Jellicle Bull would have to do well on Broadway to come to the UK. Partly as well because our culture with drag in the UK, like the primary part of drag in the UK is a lot more singing queens and not ballroom queens. So I think that concept is not as well known.
I dare say if ballroom culture, I'm sure ballroom culture exists on some level.
Oh yeah, fully believe it exists
in the UK, but it's like it's more inherently New York. I don't even know how well Cats the Jellicle Bull would work like in other parts of the US, for example. Finally saw Fiddler last week.
History of Paper.
I've heard amazing things. Where do you see History of Paper? I enjoyed History of Paper very much, but is the plot twist controversial?
The plot twist was what lost me with it.
Yeah, we saw it separately.
Yeah, we both felt differently.
I cried everything these days.
The twist stopped me from crying.
Interesting.
I was like, oh, I'm going to get emotional. And then the twist happened. And I was like, oh, no, you've lost me.
Is Heathers the Musical going to Broadway or is Heathers the Musical going off Broadway? I'm going to make a video tomorrow discussing because they said NYC. I did see a comment from someone saying the fact that they said NYC and not Broadway means it might be going somewhere regional. That's not what that means. But yeah, video to follow tomorrow. I'm so glad you got to see the UK tour of Come From Away. I've seen it in Leicester, Liverpool, Leeds, Birmingham, Ipswich, and Newcastle. I've also done some of the Pay It Forward with mine and your friend Lydia. Oh, this is a great opportunity to shout out Lydia. Lydia, our wonderful friend Lydia, aka Theatrical Lydia, and you can find her on TikTok and Instagram, is following the UK tour, the UK and Ireland tour of Come From Away, and perpetrating, I keep saying perpetrating like it's sinister, random acts of kindness and paying forward all sorts of amazing generosities that you can participate in. If Come From Away is at a theatre near you, you can bring food to the theatre and you can do all sorts of other things. Keep an eye on her socials to see how you can help out, or you can simply donate, which I still need to do because I said I was going to in the vlog.
Delroy for sure.
Delroy was so good. Delroy was so good. Yeah.
People are asking what's on your forehead.
It's a 35 sticker. It just came off of the hat. But I'm referencing Stephen Sondheim's Company.
There was something I saw that I was very intrigued by.
Seeing The Notebook on Saturday is my way to say goodbye to Broadway. Why not go out with a tearjerker? So sad. Sad for The Notebook, but it's got a whole period to celebrate and have people still see it on Broadway, which is lovely. It's not one of these quick turnaround closing notices. So there you go. There you go. Had a thought today watching Ellie's new video, Controversial Opinions. Do you think they'll ever make a Hamilton movie? It's been talked about. It's been talked about. These things never turn around quickly. The In the Heights movie.
Yeah, I think it's tricky as well because the Hamilton pro shot was done. I think it'd take a while, and I think regardless, Lynn isn't free. And I would figure that Disney would now have the rights to do a live action adaptation.
Yeah.
So,
who would you cast in the Broadway production of Heathers the Musical? Listen, I would go to the Wikipedia page for the Jimmy Awards winners for the last 10 years, and I would go to Gail's Broadway Rose, and I would go to Musical Theatre TikTok, and I would find all the exciting rising stars with some kind of a profile from there, and then between the talent level and the marketability, I think that would be a very smart choice. Specifically, Cara Rose DiPietro would be a great Heather Mack.
Yeah, I agree.
think. But also, I would love to see a version of the casting that is more diverse and not in a very calculated way like we've seen for a long time in London. We don't need just like one specifically POC Heather. There's nothing to suggest in the material that Veronica or those other roles has to be white. And I don't need one POC in the ensemble to understudy that one character either. We can be way more diverse and more exciting than that.
Sorry, I was smiling at the fact that Broadway Ben just put, man, if only someone made a TikTok dream casting a New York City production of Heathers, which I think means that Ben has made a TikTok about this.
Yeah, I've seen Ben's TikTok about it. Yeah, go and check out Broadway Ben's thoughts about Heathers the musical dream casting over on the TikTok. Hey guys, love your vids. Will you be seeing The Devil Wears Prada the musical anytime soon? Believe it or not, I know it's been open in Plymouth all summer. It's not doing press performances in London until December.
Yeah.
And that is when, because it's been previewing in Plymouth, that is not for the critics to come and say what it's like. And I have been respecting that because they're basically hiding down in Plymouth. And
they're not there currently.
No, but but when they were there, I respect that. So I've been letting them. I will say I was very tickled when we flew to Gander and I was posting ambiguous things on the app formerly known as Twitter, and I was saying like, we're on a plane, where are we going? We're on another plane, we're on a third plane. And I was like, where could we be going? And someone very earnestly replied, that's my sticker. Someone very earnestly replied, I hope you're going to Plymouth. And like, if we've taken 3 planes to get to Plymouth, something's gone very wrong. But yes, December is the answer. That's when we'll see Devil Wears Prada.
I forgot to say, I did a cool thing when I asked everybody what their first musical was, what they saw. It was fascinating.
Oh, yes.
To see what, like, because it's kind of interesting to see what the percentages of, like, similar shows and whether like, it's been interesting ones. Because I was saying how Disney is, like, I think I was talking about, it's because I started talking about Frozen and what they say. Like, if that was the first musical that I saw.
There's a lovely message at the start of Frozen in the West End that's like, pretty sure messages like phones and like all this stuff. And if this is your first time at the theatre, like, we hope you have a magical, something beautiful that almost makes me cry. What was your first show?
I cannot remember what my first musical was. To this day, I still can't figure out what it was. I always remember what my first West End musical was, which was Mary Poppins. That's kind of the musical that sticks with me, and I'll forever remember Mary playing. It was the second cast of Mary.
2006-ish?
Yes, because then I saw Wicked with Alexia on her first run.
We were similar ages, because I saw Wicked in 2006. That was my first West End show.
Yeah.
Thank you to my sister for insisting we had to go see Adina. I didn't know the significance of that.
Because I saw Rebecca Luck as Mary Poppins.
You did. My first show ever would either have been Joseph on Tour, because my family saw that a lot, or Dr. Dolittle with Philip Schofield. There's a throwback. I remember none of that. I remember meeting old Deuteronomy on the set of Cats. That was delightful. Love a character meet. Why don't we do that anymore? Why don't we do more meet the character?
I think because the actors need a break in the interval.
No, but like in a show like Cats, in something where you've got a track that's not as busy, like old Deuteronomy.
I think because probably now there's probably more health and safety things. There's also probably just a case of, I feel like in this kind of social media age, more people have phones that are good cameras and to actively take photos so often. And I could just see it becoming a case of, we need to restart the show and we've now had an extended interval because people will kick off if they don't get the photo.
Yeah.
I mean,
they made it work then.
Then again, though, we had this happen with Choir of Man has it, where the cast can go, where people can go on stage before the show and get drinks.
Yeah. I think we did not meet Lynn at the Fringe.
No, I think he was there right after we left.
He was there at the same time.
Oh,
he was there right towards the end of our trip. He was there.
Oh,
it's very sad.
There were tons of people there that we didn't see. It's really luck of the draw if you're at the same thing as other people, because it's such a big festival.
Yeah. OMG, Mickey, Jo, and Aaron, hoping to come to MusicalCon this year. Hope to see you there. We will probably be at MusicalCon this
Yeah.
year. Don't know officially. But on the Sunday of MusicalCon in the evening, if anyone's looking for something to do, you can come and see MickeyJoTheatre live with special guests to be announced at the Phoenix Arts Club in London, beneath Stranger Things. I will be there at 7:30. And if you are not about, if you're in otherwise elsewhere in the UK, or if you're in the US, you can watch via live stream. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Tom. Did you enjoy Alex Newell? Spotted you. Spotted. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. I watched the 1991 Tony Awards earlier. I love the old award shows, especially when they have performances from various shows. Oh, I love watching old Tony Awards.
They used to be my bit thing. I'm glad that we're getting more often. Yeah.
Unreal. Who 1991 Tony Awards? Miss Saigon? Lea Salonga? I think that was 1991.
Is around then.
I'm gonna place a bet. Miss Saigon, Lea Salonga.
I like that we seem to wait. We didn't get one this year, did we? I was trying to remember if we had an opening number this year at the Olivier's. I think she did the piano song this year.
She did, yes. Have you seen any of the Starkid musicals? I love them. Very out of the loop with Starkid, and I've been holding off because at some point I'll watch them and I'll like do a video about it. I'll be like finally like reacting to.
I thought the one that I'm really surprised that we've never sat down and watched is Ride the Cyclone, which isn't Starkid, but is like adjacent in that world of, especially because you did all the stuff with Be More Chill. Yeah.
Yeah. All this news and still no Les Mis cast news. Do you mean for West End? I assume you mean West End?
Pens piped up. Okay, if we had to choose between the two, which would you rather Mickey watch first and react to do? Ride the Cyclone or Starkid? But then with Starkid, which or what?
Yeah. Yeah. Do I have to like start at the beginning with the Starkid? Is there a sense of
because with Starkid, would it have to be a
Ride the Cyclone is one show. Starkid is more of an endeavor. True. Very true. After seeing We Will Rock You on a Cruise, the person who plays Killer Queen has two types of shoes. One that she uses normally, which are much bigger heels, but also one for when it's very turbulency. That's hilarious.
Okay, I'm so fascinated by all of this.
It's like going to go change into my turbulence shoes. Love that. What would they look like?
I mean, the Six Queens already have multiple types of shoes. I wonder if it was
they
like
have different heel heights, don't they?
So that probably was already helpful though, because that was already part of the costume.
Do you think anyone's like quickly gone on or like had to change character and grabbed a different pair of shoes and ended up with two different heel heights? Like one of each?
Oh, maybe.
I don't wish that on anyone. I'm just.
But no, because if they because I know this about the boots though,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a strap that they change, so it wouldn't be different colours.
Oh, yeah.
It's one pair of boots, and then they have different straps that they put in, and that changes the colour.
You're right. I'm familiar with Twisted. I know the concepts of many of the Starkid shows. I've just never watched them. When is the Little Big Things coming back to the West End? Christmas run at Soho Place, maybe. I was wondering this because we still don't know what's happening after the death of England at Soho Place, and I think it's inevitable that the Little Big Things will at some point return to the venue, and I think it'll have to be there for logistical reasons. Met you both outside the toilet at Alex Newell yesterday. Was nice to meet you.
It was so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. Geraldine and Some Like It Hot. That's another Ian for my Ian's number. Are you going to the final Frozen show on Sunday?
If it was the six Ians, I need them to do a version of Cell Block Tango, but with rewritten lyrics. Rather than six, I think they need to do that.
Fine.
Because I'm thinking like a high kicking Fontaine would be hilarious.
Yeah. Are you going to the final Frozen show on Sunday? No, not planning to. We have exciting plans all weekend for an extensive celebration of my birthday. It's my birthday at some point next weekend, and you'll find out all about what we're up to. We're not leaving the country or anything wildly exciting, but we are doing some fun things. Yes, we know White Rabbit, Red Rabbit is at Soho Place next, but not for very long.
It's a really short run. Ben, I have no clue what Hatchetfield is.
Yeah, what's Hatchetfield? Clue us in. So yeah, not going to the final Frozen yet. I feel like I've seen Frozen as many times as I need to, because we saw this cast back in February, right after.
And we saw it after
they filmed the pro shot.
Well, I was going to say though, after they filmed the pro shot, you can say that out loud. It's announced.
Right after they filmed the pro shot.
But I'm glad that we saw it then, because fun fact, the current version of Frozen in the West End is not the same version of Frozen in the West End that opened in the West End, because the changes were made for the pro shot. They cut the Samantha line.
In the broad scheme of things, that is a small change.
Multiple things change.
The changes between Frozen West End and Frozen Pro Shot West End are smaller than the changes between Frozen West End and Frozen Hamburg. Because Hugo was so different.
Hugo was so different.
Yeah. Hello from Sacramento, California. Why is the Once Upon a Mattress run so brief? I think probably because of
I think it's just
star availability.
Yeah, I think it's a run specifically for that cast and their availability. And I also think the reason that Mattress is on Broadway is for licensing, because they want to license this new version out.
Yeah,
that's for a big reason.
Listen, it's a more extended run than its brief time at Encores was. And also, is there enough immediate appetite for Once Upon a Mattress to run for an extended time on Broadway beyond that limited run? I don't know. It's a little dated, even with the updates to the book.
It feels
charming.
It also feels fitting for Encores, like current Encores, like similar with like Parade and with Into the Woods. That if they're going to go to Broadway, they'll do like an extended limited run.
Yeah. I saw your cast update video for Cabaret. I'm a huge Adam Lambert fan and can't wait to see Adam in it. Any plans for you to cover it? I will do my best. I would like to. Getting into Cabaret in New York, I don't know. Might be easy, might be challenging. I haven't asked yet. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I saw Two Strangers Carry a Cake across New York last week. You saw it just before it closed. Did you enjoy?
Thank you so much,
Sabrina?
Jeffrey. That's really kind.
Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. That's lovely. How's everyone doing on TikTok?
Oh, roses.
So many
Thank
roses. Max, enjoy Starlight Express. I want to go back. I'm ready to start going back to Starlight Express and seeing different combinations of performers.
Yes, me too.
And sitting in different places.
I think that's something that can be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do love. It's why I really want to go back to 6 soon to see the alts.
We still haven't seen Hannah.
No,
still haven't
this
seen.
This is my thing. I really want to see the alts and the covers.
Yeah. Hey guy, are you planning to watch White Rabbit, Red Rabbit? And if so, which actor are you excited about? Haven't made plans to, because I haven't thought very far between now and the end of the year. I'll be honest. I just haven't planned ahead. I know there's a lot of. It's really a time for plays in London between now and the end of the year. It is much more about plays, I think, than it is musical, because like the Oedipuses are on their way, and Waiting for Godot is happening, and Juno and the Paycock. Like, it's plays that are opening, the highest profile openings. The Macbeth is transferring. I can say that here. We don't live in a theatre. And yeah, I don't know. I'm. Can I say I'm struggling? I'm sure it'll be great. And I like plays as well. I'm just struggling to get particularly excited.
Yeah, when I was listing things. But I feel like, great comments coming up.
Yeah, that's probably the next thing that I'm like, ooh, and we have tickets to that.
And I'm intrigued about like the Lightning Thief, because I've heard so much about it.
Yeah. Any expectations or hopes for the rumored Newsies tour? At least 2 traveling physiotherapists. At least 2.
I'm going to be fascinated by how it works without the extra elements, because I think kind of easily, but I wonder if that will change any of the joy of it. And I also just wonder how much smaller the cast will need to be to tour.
Yeah. Timothy Sheeder is directing Great Comet in London. He is the new artistic director of the Donmar Warehouse, and for years previously, get off my YouTube comments. Get back. For years previously, he has been the artistic director of Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. He directed the production of I'm getting to it. He directed the production of Into the Woods at Regent's Park that then went to New York. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Where did I get up to up here? I saw Hairspray on tour in Belfast on Thursday. Disappointed by the use of the LED screens. That sadly, I mean, that's just a thing in so many shows now, and in a lot of touring shows. People said the same thing about like Beauty and the Beast, and it's very variable from one show to the next.
I was going to say, because I actually really love the LED use in Mean Girls. So I watched it this weekend, and I was like, that really works.
Used in Mean Girls, and Fangirls was amazing.
Yeah, Fangirls had an amazing one.
Yeah, so it's very variable. It's about how they're used.
I think it also is the period of the show. Like, I feel like any shows that are set contemporary, like Mean Girls, like Fangirls, it really suits it because of the age that it's trying to...
Yeah, but I could see how it would jar in a Hairspray.
Yeah.
I could see that. Will you react to the Sunset Boulevard album? You betcha. Saw Moulin Rouge. Dom Simpson is superb. Also saw Fiddler on the Roof. Wonderful. We are trying to see Fiddler on the Roof.
We need to plan a time to see it, hopefully.
We queued up the other day for the grass bank seats, and they weren't doing them because it had rained the day before.
Yeah.
Are you excited about Richard II? Do you know it's not my favourite Richard?
Do you know I still don't know if I've actually seen Johnny Bailey on stage?
Have you not?
Oh no, of course I have. Oh my gosh, of course I have. Multiple times. Yeah, multiple times. I was on the front row for the final matinee.
Clearly, it was very memorable to you.
It was very much near the end because when Rosalie came on stage, she literally was right next to me.
Oh.
Because of how she came up.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, wow.
I saw Jonathan Bailey. I mean, I saw him in Othello at the National Theatre, but it was live streamed. I wasn't in the room. But I saw him in American Psycho. Jonathan Bailey was in American Psycho with Matt Smith. I don't know if people remember this. Do you think we'll ever get SATS
Standing at the Sky's Edge? Maybe a UK tour,
or a regional production. I'd love to see like a regional production, and probably in Sheffield.
I was going to say, I feel like it might do I could see it doing like a return engagement in Sheffield, maybe like in a couple of years.
What about a little northern tour? Just like a little northern tour for Standing at the Sky's Edge.
I think it's just whether it's financially able, because it was a massive cast.
It was a big cast, yeah. But I'd like to see a different production. I'd be curious to. Do you think Legally Blonde will return at any point in the next 5 years? If not, why not? Why has Legally Blonde not come back to Broadway? The appetite is there. Cast it right, and that would come back and be a Broadway hit.
But it's at Kennedy Center.
I think. Is that ahead of a broader run? Kennedy Center, with those casting announcements, have we seen the Spelling Bee cast? My goodness,
so sad when I'm going to get to
cast at the Kennedy Center.
I just realised when we look there, we're like just looking completely down.
Yeah, Kennedy Center regionally and DC are making big moves in their pre-Broadway series. Don't want to.
I'm helping.
No, I don't want it.
Hi, Matthew.
Hello, everybody. Right,
thank you for the super chat.
Over here, I would get. You're jumping ahead in my comments. I've lost my place now. The last 5 years opens it. Yeah, the last 5 years. But I don't know if that was booked in already ahead of Mattress. Just got back from a weekend trip to New York. I only had time for 4 shows, and in large part thanks to your review, Suffs was one of them. Thanks for helping me guide me to it. I hope you enjoyed.
Yes, that's true. Kate's correct here. I remember Kate telling me this before.
Legal Blonde was put on hold for the 3rd film that was not turned into. That annoys me, because what does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? Why does a new Legally Blonde film or series or whatever preclude Legally Blonde the musical being on Broadway? It just helps to like reestablish the brand and keep it in everyone's consciousness.
The pro shot already happened. So
yeah. We need a remaster of the pro shot on like full digital release, and then we need it back on Broadway to bring Legally Blonde back into the public consciousness. That's what we need. They're making foolish brand decisions. I'm cross about it. Anyway, it's in Sao Paulo, Brazil right now. I'm pretty sure they're doing an open air production. They were telling me about this when I went down there to go see Wicked. I think they're doing something in the vein of the Regent's Park one down there.
Speaking of Regent's Park, I've got fingers crossed that the weather will be all good for you on Thursday.
Manifesting. Manifest for Nico. Good weather for Fiddler on the Roof at Regent's Park. Hello in Virginia. Are you going to see the the Shucked Tour in Virginia? Because it's going to Richmond, Virginia as like its second tour stop.
And you for Tyler Joseph Edler's feeling it.
Ty Joe from TikTok, from Instagram, is going to be storyteller number 2 in the Shucked Tour. That's great casting.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing casting. That's casting that had me going, where can we go see the Shucked Tour? Listen, 2025 is the year of exploring new parts of America, because I want to see the
Carmelo.
I want to see the Kimberly Akimbo tour. I want to see the Shucked Tour.
Yeah.
What state do I need to go to make this happen? Because I don't know. I know some states are preferable to travel to and be homosexual in, and some states are not. So I need guidance. Here. What states? Tell us the states that you're at. But yeah. So yes.
Oh, Shucked go to LA. Kate's just said.
Shucked is going to LA. I kind of want to see Shucked in Tampa, because it is going to Tampa. Is it just me?
Oh, parade tour. I forgot about the parade tour.
I forgot about the parade tour. Oh my gosh, Ben. Oh my gosh. You should come to Chicago. I would love to come to Chicago.
That is a good question about tours being, if they're more expensive in the West End, then tours being more expensive. I think we're definitely in a period of time where there is a lot less of a difference in pricing, and I feel two ways about it, because one, in like, why is this expectation that tours have to be lesser than West End? Because I guess in the US wouldn't be viewed as much of a case because of just how big the country is. Whereas sometimes I feel like that pricing difference does that equivalent to it's not as good as, which I feel like as somebody that used to see mainly tours, I don't want to feel like people are paying to see things regionally when they are people that performed on the West End or on tour. Like, it's not really, there's no performer difference. Yeah. But then at the same time, when I've seen that you could see the same show that's on tour and in town, and it's cheaper to go to the West End to see the show than it is to see on tour, I have questions.
Yes. My thing is, I don't know if it's necessarily more expensive. For some shows I don't know if it's more expensive to see a show on tour, or if it's just that the discounts are scarcer and they don't have young people's ticket schemes.
And you don't have rush seats.
Rush seats, and they don't have lotteries, and there aren't cheaper ways to do it, because I'm not about trying to buy a full price ticket in like top price bands weekly to a bunch of West End shows. And like, we and the people who go regularly, people who go weekly to the theatre, are looking at discounted schemes, and that's just a reality of it.
I was really fortunate.
It's my chair squeaking, by the way.
I was really fortunate where I grew up, because my local theatre did do rush standby seats that you went half an hour before the show started.
That's cool.
And a lot of the big UK tours were part of it, would do it. Yeah. You'd find out like right before if they were doing it that week. But often though, it was for young people.
We're talking about different things. So you're talking about lotteries for tours in the US, and I think we're talking predominantly about tours in the UK. I assume LuckySeat.com is a US thing.
I know ATG do things with the theatre, I think.
Do you remember when Beauty and the Beast was touring and they did like Beauty and the Beast lottery?
Disney are very good for it with their tours.
But Disney day seats are so secret.
Yeah, Disney day seats normally include their tours.
Yeah. Do you think Bonnie and Clyde will return in the UK soon? Funny you should ask. Professionally, no. I think we've had a lot of Bonnie and Clyde in the UK. We had the concert, we had the arts, we had the Garrick, we had the tour, and it seems to saturate. Like, everyone who wanted to see Bonnie and Clyde had seen Bonnie and Clyde, hence the tour not selling well as perhaps it could have done. But we're seeing lots of community theatre productions of Bonnie and Clyde, and two of my family members are in Bonnie and Clyde in Christchurch, Dorset in October, which is in fact next month. So get your tickets. If anyone is local to the Dorset area, head over to the Regent Centre. I'll be talking about this more on my Instagram, because I said I'd give them a nice little plug. And we will be there cheering them on at one of the shows. So yeah, go see Bonnie and Clyde. And Kate, keep us in your plans.
Kate, our lovely friend, is already planning their Great Theatre Summer 2025. And if you haven't already, on YouTube and on Kate's Instagram and TikTok, you can watch their great theatre trip vlogs, which I think is like 31 days of seeing theatre back to back across multiple cities in the US and in the UK. And it's incredible to watch. It's a great entertainment.
We respect. William, I hope you enjoyed Come From Away in Oxford. Corey, this
my gosh, yes.
This one's for you, Aaron. I remember Aaron James taking part in Birmingham stage experience at the Alex, that's the Alexandra.
Yeah, I did 3. I did Oliver. I did...
Who were you in Oliver?
I did Oliver... Was it Vane? And Bugsy Malone.
Can you recreate any of those performances for us now?
No. But it is crazy to think...
were you an adorable child in Oliver?
I was one of the older kids. Me and Marcus were 2 of the oldest kids.
Aww.
In that. And then I was one of the characters in Bugsy Malone. And I can't remember what I was in the second one.
There you go.
I'll try and remember.
I did not do youth theatre. I did not perform on a stage until I was like 18.
It's always making you roll your eyes, but a lot of the shows we go to, I was really fortunate with who I did youth theatre with, and it's been incredible to then see a lot of my friends in the West End who are currently in the West End and on tour.
Very often we'll go see something and I'll be like, and I did youth theatre with that person.
It's been very nice. It's been really cool to celebrate so many friends doing so well.
Yeah. Poppy, enjoy Hello Dolly. Maddie will attempt to review Cabaret with the new cast. I will reach out and I will see if they are receptive to me coming to do that. Time for a revival of The Producers. What do we think? Cullen, I don't know if you're talking Broadway or West End, but we are getting a London revival of The Producers this Christmas at the Menier Chocolate Factory. And I'm hearing exciting casting rumours. And rumours that still make sense for the characters, but are different to previous interpretations. So I'm excited by what I'm hearing about The Producers casting. And I think it's going to be quite a different production of it. Are you planning to see the new West End cast of Matilda this month? Probably not this month, but I would like to at some point.
I'd like to. It's been a while since we've been back to Matilda.
Some icons going into it.
I went to youth theatre in Wolverhampton. Was my youth theatre, and this is an interesting question actually to dispel something. So the question was: is there a reason more shows in the West End are limited runs instead of open-ended? So, 2 things. 1, we do not do dark theatres. So it's very, very rare that any of our theatres will go dark, which means that it'll be a period of time where there's not a show in. On Broadway, that happens quite a lot, mainly because of funding and money, etc. But they will let a theatre sit and won't rush to get a show in. We'll wait for the right show. The West End does not do that. If there is a gap, if there is a week, something will fill it. That's just kind of how it works with all of our West End theatres. So that's one reason, is that sometimes it's that shows are filling gaps. We do a lot more plays going into the West End, just in general. And often most of West End plays are limited because it's like star names and we'll close with that cast every season. And the other thing, my big point is, we have a lot of West End, we have a lot of open-ended runs currently, more I think than ever before in the West End. There are so many long runners, but we also every show announces their new booking season, and so you think they'll all have end dates. Yeah. We're just not as open about.
Broadway put 1 month of tickets on sale at a time in a rolling way, right?
Well, kind of all shows are expected to be open-ended runs unless...
But that's how Broadway open up new blocks of tickets. They're and now March of next year, we're going to put those on sale.
Yeah.
And here, they do it in 6-month blocks at a time. Or occasionally a year. Magic Mike has just extended to this time next year.
Matilda normally extends by a year and a month.
Yeah.
But we have seen some shows now are doing that rolling window. So if you look at the website for, these are shows that to be aware of: Book of Mormon, The Lion King, Moulin Rouge. There's another one. Their websites will confuse you because they add a month. Like, they're currently not running very long if you look at the websites, but it's because they just dropped months in out of the blue.
Well,
They're very rolling.
There you go.
That's the fridge.
Probs never happen, but Florence Pugh would be a great Sally Bowles for Frecknell's Cabaret, in my opinion. Would you believe me if I told you she's been asked?
But she would be incredible.
She's been asked.
I had a shock face, like I hadn't thought about that, but she would be fun.
They have reached out to like all those big names that you're like, oh my God, can you imagine if this person would do it? They've reached out.
Yeah.
Like crazy, like pop star names, they've reached out. Oscar, like big movie people, they've reached out. And Florence Pugh, I believe, is on the list that has been asked. So maybe she'll say yes at some point.
Is there any way to get cheap theatre tickets on Broadway? Yes. One person to check out on TikTok is Gen with a hard G.
Gen with a hard G.
Gen puts
Gen.
puts all the stuff on how to get cheaper tickets. So he's a perfect person to look at.
Gen is all about making theatre more accessible.
Yeah, but they see also in your vlogs for Broadway, you can learn a lot about the rush tickets and see how we got rush tickets and how we did lottery tickets.
Yeah.
There are things, they're harder to get, but then at the same time, I think rush tickets, as long as you have the right time, we've had more guaranteed success than maybe here, where the only option really in the UK, there are different options online, but mainly it's rush tickets. And so not many of our theatres in the West End, as far as we know, do day seats or actively promote doing day seats. They'll just do maybe surprise discounts, but it's at the discretion of the box office.
There's also the TKTS booth in Times Square and the other one at Lincoln Center that does reduced Broadway tickets. There's also TDF. Look up TDF if you're like regularly looking for reduced Broadway tickets. And there are various shows and theatres that do like reduced, like under 30 tickets, like 30 under 30. And student tickets and things like that. So on a case-by-case basis, but yeah. Where did I get up to here? Just saw Kiss Me Kate, not bad in my honest opinion, better than Hello Dolly.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. Also saw Why Am I So Single yesterday, just wow, great beats and so current. I'm so excited to see Why Am I So Single. I will be seeing it, we'll both be seeing it next week. Woo! And then the press embargo lifts sometime around then. We'll figure it out. But next week, stay tuned for a review of Why Am I So Single coming next week. I'm hoping to love it. Are you still planning to make the Where Are They Now videos for the Angelo Weber reality shows like I do anything? Yes. My back burner is extensive. My back burner is a fire risk, but
it's the issue of like current event stuff you need to do quickly.
Yeah, I'm always like, oh, I can make this video this week. And then Heather's announces they're going to New York. And I'm like, well, that's now. Or the Notebook announces they're closing. And I turn a video around in an hour and a half. Hi, Mickey, Jo, and Aaron. How are you doing today? How are you doing today?
Thank you.
I'm
it's been a fun day.
Yes.
It's been kind of productive.
Yes.
I've been designing merch for you.
Yes.
Maybe that's a secret.
Yes. Yes.
But no, it's been fun. It was nice. We got to see friends today at the film premiere, which was very nice because it was a fun get to see people, and we got free Tony's chocolones, which were very nice.
Chocolonely.
Yes, I forget it's.
Everyone does.
Yeah,
everyone does. I didn't know for years. Thank you very much for the super thanks or the super chat. I never know which one it is. Thank you so much, Matthew Whittle. That is very, very, very generous. Will you be watching Beetlejuice? I don't know because we haven't. I was saying this on the escalator when we were coming back this evening through London.
I have to watch the first one.
I haven't seen the first one, and I know it's tonally
no.
And I know it's tonally very different to the show. Like it's. Not...
I think that's my thing. Is like there's not really like Sean was shocked. I feel like we'd have to watch it with Sean, but
maybe we'll do that at some point.
Yeah.
We'll watch the first one and then see.
Yeah, I feel like because it's not linked as much to theatre, I've just not like other than a musical. There's not. Yeah. It's not a musical film, so I don't see many films that aren't. I'll be honest.
Yeah. How can we get Burlesque? Hope we can get Burlesque, to come to the West End, but I'm tempted to journey up to Manchester to see it. I think they've spent money on that show. They're angling to get it down to the West End.
We saw Jackie Burns.
Yeah, Jackie Burns was at Alex Newell's concert at Cadogan.
She'd just flown back over ready to go to Glasgow.
Yeah. Do you think Merrily will return to the West End? It could. It would be all about casting.
Yeah,
I think
it would only come back over with a cast that could equal the Broadway cast.
Yeah.
Because I could see if it came over and it wasn't that level of cast, the UK would be upset.
Yeah. When are you expecting the Frozen Pro shot? They announced this at Disney Plus. They said 2025.
Did they?
They did. They did. Because I was surprised because I was expecting it this Christmas.
Yeah.
But at Disney, not at Disney Plus, at D23, they said 2025 for the Frozen Pro shot.
You saw Death of England.
I've seen all the Death.
On
I've
Saturday.
seen all of them. All of them. In the famous words of Grace Mowat when asked on an Instagram Live how many of the 6 queens she'd gone on for at the Edinburgh Fringe. All of them. I have seen all the Death of England plays. I saw them the other day.
Yeah.
Back to back to back. And I vlogged that day. And that will be coming soon to my channel.
And what was funny is you were vlogging that day, and I was vlogging Mean Girls. So on my YouTube channel, you can watch what me and Sean were up to.
Yeah.
Whilst he was watching Death of England because we were at Mean Girls.
You asked for more London theatre vlogs, and
So
we're doing them.
got the camera and started doing them for more shows.
We're doing them. We're not doing weekly vlogs yet, but Erin has been vlogging like every theatre trip we've been on recently.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's rather a like weekly vlog or a specific to show vlog. So I'm trying to see what works best.
So if you want to see more theatre vlogs, stay tuned for one coming soon to my channel, and go to follow Erin James here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Have you seen O'Mary? What do you think?
Saw it off Broadway.
Saw it off Broadway down at the Lucille Hotel. Loved it. Hilarious.
Very good.
Cole is fantastic.
And Conrad Ricamora.
Yes. They say, this is the thing from Frozen. They say, we hope this is the beginning of a lifetime love of theatre, or something along those lines. Yeah, it's very special.
I wish that I want to know if they do it at Aladdin and The Lion King, because there's part of me that thinks it's only Frozen, and I think if it's only Frozen that they've been doing it at, I will be very upset.
Yeah.
Because Disney, Disney doing that is the perfect thing, so I'd hope they do it with all of them. Oh gosh.
What?
That's where people are only just saying about Ride the Cyclone.
I know. Hush, hush.
Sorry.
Going to New York City, end of October. Would ragtime at the New York City Centre be worth it? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Before I even read the rest of your comment, yes.
Roses.
Also choosing between Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, or Our Town. You got some tips. I never know how I feel about Our Town as a play. It's never...
I saw it at Regent's Park and enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know if it set the world on fire when I saw it, but I did enjoy it. Very
classic plays, especially in the US.
The set was really cool because it was basically the set was the auditorium.
Yeah.
They had basically the exact same auditorium seats on stage. So it was very cool.
I think there's the capacity for each of those to be great. Ragtime, of all of those, is the one I have the most confidence in. Death Becomes Her, I think the cast is amazing, but in terms of material and cast, Ragtime.
I'm desperate to see Megan Hilty on stage.
I'm doing a double bill of Hello Dolly and Operation Mincemeat. I've never done two in one day before.
Oh, exciting. First ever two-show day.
Make sure to plan how you're going to get food, whether that's just like a fast food option in the middle somewhere, whether it's somewhere where you can like pay and like scan a QR code, but make sure you eat. Yeah. Make sure you eat and stay hydrated. Do you have a good website to watch for London cast albums? Playbill are really good, even though it's not London. Playbill, I think, are the best hub of like all cast album releases. Do you mean like announcing for when stuff is coming out? I'm also hoping for Next to Normal, but I'm worried that we're this late in the run and they haven't said anything. Mean Girls, I think, have done or are doing a recording, but it might just be, we're not sure if it's going to be the whole thing or highlights. Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah. I expect it to be all because there's so many changes.
Because they changed a lot of the score.
Oh, Kate's doing a long YouTube video too in 3 weeks.
How exciting.
Is that going to be a vlog, Kate, or is it going to be a... Oh, I sent an invitation.
Hi guys, been watching you and guys go on about Come From Away. Went to Apple TV and watched the Broadway version. Absolutely my favorite show ever. It meant so much more after listening to you guys. I assume you've seen the video of when we went to Gander, aka one of the most special trips ever. But yeah, been talking a lot about Come From Away recently, from seeing the UK tour, from going together. It's been a very Come From Away summer.
Oh, Kate's doing a long video. Oh, that's fun. So Kate's going to be doing a long video on discounted Broadway tickets. So
Oh, amazing.
make sure you're following Kate Ranking on YouTube.
Kate, are you Kate Ranking on YouTube or Last Midnight or Theatre is Life?
If you type in Kate Ranking, you can find Kate.
Yeah, Ranking like the Lion King, but not spelled like that, which is not helpful.
Oh, if you're in the UK, I just spotted because I saw Lois is watching. If you're in the UK and you're watching, make sure to watch The Voice because Lois has announced that she's in The Voice.
Yes. Happened to be over in London for October and would love to try to fit in Mickey J Live. Mickey J Live in October is the same weekend as Musical Con. So I don't know if you know about Musical Con, but you can do it all in one weekend.
Yeah.
And if you want to see Mickey J Live before that, September 22nd is the next show. You can come in person. There are still plenty of tickets. Guest stars to be announced imminently. And you can also get streaming tickets. And Aaron will be there. What more do you need? What do you predict? Heather's on Broadway or off Broadway? I'm hoping off. It is a big cast size to sustainably run off Broadway. From what I'm not an expert, but from what I can tell.
But Heather's.
It's a bigger cast size than the likes of Teeth.
Yeah.
It ran off Broadway before, obviously.
Brian's saying it's going off Broadway.
It's going off Broadway, which I think is the smart choice. And I think that's a good thing.
And I think it's also cool to have off-Broadway musicals that can run.
Yeah.
Because I'm liking the fact that we're seeing more and more musicals being able to do a long run off-Broadway.
Yeah. Dan John, oh my God, hey. From ages ago. Sorry, I'm catching up with these questions. I'm really hoping that Two Strangers makes a Broadway transfer. Also, I'm super excited for the UK version of Heathers to make its NYC debut. Yes, as we are discussing. Oh, I've scrolled away.
Oh, Daniel saw you at Alex Knoll.
Ah, yes. Living my best life. Having a great time. Quick question. Do you think Newsies will happen as a UK tour? It's being rumoured. It is being rumoured. Or do you think because of the immersiveness of the show it won't be possible? I don't cut those bits.
Yeah, I don't think the immersiveness was disruptive on stage, and
they'll just adapt the set and they won't swing in from the back. And
I can see them still doing bits where the cast members came through the audience. They just come through the aisles of the stalls and go up the side steps and onto the stage for like later on in the show, and just any of the I mean, what would be really cool, but I doubt this will happen because I'm gathering I would bet it would do a smaller runs on tour. But if Disney got more involved in the show, I would live for them having Mary Poppins on tour with her flying up and out through the skylight, and Newsies on tour with a Newsie coming down from the skylight.
What else do we have here? I saw your review for the History Boys, and I'm hoping to see it. I enjoyed that production. Hello, Andrew.
Sorry.
Yes, go see the History Boys if it comes to a theatre near. If you've not seen the play before, that's a great play. And if you're wondering where my review for the History Boys was, it's on Instagram and TikTok. It's not on YouTube. Any birthday plans having to do with the mouse? No, but close. Same idea. You're really sad.
This is where I'm like, Disney opened something that's in more things that are actually in the UK that we can do.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Disney there's not one extra thing in London that they have.
What venue do you think Beetlejuice will open in the West End? That's a good question.
There's a couple of rumoured theatres, and I feel like it will be one of those few, but then they've not been free for a very long time. And I think they'll be holding out for those theatres because it seems that set needs a certain mid-size.
There's been talk of the Gillian Lynn.
There's been talk about the Adelphi as well.
Oh, I could see them. That would explain why they're waiting if they're waiting for the Adelphi.
Those are the two theatres that I've only ever heard of it talked about.
That would look great at the Adelphi with that big.
That's a theatre that I think it will go into at some point.
A lot of Broadway transfers want the Adelphi because of the nature of that space and the size and the capacity and the stage. And
Adelphi, Savoy, Gillian Lynn are always three of the most sought after because they have the wide enough stage that you don't have to adapt as much.
Adelphi at Savoy, I see it. Do many things transfer Broadway to Gillian Lynn?
Well, I think anything that's like Lincoln Center style. Because it's the same as the National go there.
It is, but what's the last Lincoln Center thing that went to the Gillian Lynn?
But I mean, we sent one over there.
Like, yeah,
went there because Lehman went
a
there.
bunch of national things have gone there because Standing and Lehman.
It's a good question, actually.
I think if Beetlejuice wanted the Gillian Lynn, it could have had it by now. Because I don't know what the Gillian Lynn is next year. Do I? Oh yeah, it's Totoro. Sorry, yeah. Then maybe that's why.
That's been in talks for a long. Totoro has been for a while talked about.
There's a lot of theatres. There's a lot to think about. I'm so sorry. I missed the Samantha line. Yeah, and it has a different name in Hamburg. They don't use the Samantha in Hamburg. They use
the trilogy played the Niederlander on Broadway, which I cannot imagine. I think that's because of how the stage works.
I'm having to work really hard to remember where the Niederlander is.
Shucked.
Thank
you. Who's Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was just a box on whatever the set is, and then a million people appear at the end, and you're shook about it.
All fingers crossed for 42 balloons.
I didn't say Back to the Future will never close, Brian. I just pointed out that when you said Back to the Future will be gone by January, that you also said that about it last January. Ergo, I'm just saying Back to the Future had more legs than anyone gave it credit for. That's all I have ever said about Back to the Future.
Oh, and did we see Kathy and Stella? We've seen Kathy and Stella
2.5 times in the West End.
2.5 times in the West End. Once in Bristol. Twice at the Fringe. The 2 different versions. We've seen 2 one-act versions of it, and then multiple times of the full 2-act version. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were at the famous press night performance that they only did half of because it flooded.
Yeah, they hope for shows to be a watershed, but not like that. Hello from NYC, born and raised, and you're practically New Yorkers now. Anyway, we try to be. Listen, we try.
No, Jake. So on the press night of Kathy and Stella, what happened was something hit and a pipe broke, so the show in the interval couldn't go ahead because of technical difficulties. So then all the press had to come at a different performance.
Yeah, pipe didn't. It also wasn't a pipe. Pipe it was didn't break. They just triggered the
sprinkler system or something.
They know the sprinkler system works, so that's a good safety sign. Be reassured. But we did get to go back and see it. This was all a long time ago. It's all resolved now. Don't worry.
Yeah. I have a lot of love for that show. I hope that we'll be seeing Rebecca and Bronte and more things soon because I love them both so much.
In terms of Beetlejuice theatres, Dan John says, I always thought the Dominion, but having seen it on Broadway in a smaller venue, I think Beetlejuice can do it on the West End, maybe somewhere like the Adelphi. There you go. Dominion, I don't wish that for Beetlejuice because that's a hard venue to
The Dominion Theatre is one of the hardest theatres to sell, and it's going to be fast. It's going to be interesting with Devil Wears Prada. It'll be the first show trying to do an open run because we've only seen shows for the past so many years do these limited runs.
Not since Prince of Egypt has anything just tried to go full throttle at the Dominion, and
it's probably the longest we've seen a show running there so far.
It takes a lot to fill the Dominion. It's a huge, huge theatre, and let us not over hype the commercial viability of Beetlejuice. I wish for Beetlejuice. I wish success for it in London, it struggled multiple times on Broadway. That's something to remember, I think. I want to respond to this. Mikey, my name is Mickey. Hello. Your Slave Play review was way too respectful. That play was painful. I'm sorry you didn't have a good time. I don't think there's any such thing as too respectful. You could say it was too positive if you didn't agree, and that's your opinion and that's my opinion, and that's fine. Too respectful is wild. Is your live show Musical Con weekend wheelchair accessible this time? I'm very sorry. It's the same venue. And so it's only if you're able to self-transfer because the venue is underground. So I'm very sorry about that, but it's not, the Phoenix Arts Club is still not wheelchair accessible. There will always be streaming tickets to all of the live show performances. But yeah, that's, so no is the answer. I'm very sorry about that. Did the seats move in Starlight? No.
No, the seats don't move in Starlight Express. Oh, you had to cover Two Strangers.
Oh, how fun. I didn't get to see any of the Two Strangers covers in it. Didn't see Two Strangers as many times as I would have liked to.
No.
I'd have gone back to Two Strangers.
It's because we were out of the country for half of the month.
And it was a very busy summer with a lot of new things coming in.
Oh.
I got married in the Phoenix Arts Club. Oh my gosh. What do you think the producers will... Oh, it's gone. What do you think the producers will do after its limited run off West End? Depends on how it goes, I guess.
I think always, if you see a show that's off West End, my big thing when people say, should I wait, will it transfer? Off West End transfers to the West End are not that common still. It's only recently that started to become a thing, which is amazing. And the thing that I'm so thankful we're now seeing that this pipeline exists, like Operation Mincemeat doing its journey. It had Benjamin Button about to do what it's doing, but I'd say treat, if it's an off West End, treat that as that's it for now, because it all depends on reviews and how well it sells. Nothing's really planned as much. Hi, Billy.
Billy Nevers. We're Billy Nevers stands.
Yeah, massively.
We have seen you twice in the Hamilton tour, and we're desperate to see you go on as Aaron Burr. And I have said as much all over social media because you are fantastic in the Hamilton tour.
And we're amazing in Anne Juliet.
Yes. Which someone else has just asked about, Anne Juliet. Love Anne Juliet.
Yeah.
Fun time. Always a fun time.
We've been trying to plan when to see the tour, especially as we just found out Katie's going into the tour.
Yes, Katie Ramshaw's going into the Anne Juliet tour. What's one show at Regent's Park you'd love to see? I personally would love to see a gritty show there. I agree, but I'd also like to see In the Heights.
I'd love to actually. I've seen In the Heights because I saw the King's Cross production, but I would love to see it back and a full. And I'd love to see how In the Heights would be taken now. Yeah. Post Hamilton.
In the Heights could come back to... I think In the Heights could come back to Broadway now with the post Hamilton. It ran on Broadway with none of the Lin-Manuel Miranda-ness that he is now.
But this is why I also want... Separate but kind of linked. But this is why I'm also I would love Rent to go into the West End now, because I feel like when Rent and Spring Awakening, the two of them, came to the West End when the West End wasn't ready for Rent and Spring Awakening. That's always my hot take.
I agree.
And we're now in a place where both shows could actually do runs, and it's crazy that both had such short runs in the West End when they were on originally.
Yeah. Do you think Two Strangers has the viability to transfer off Broadway? Absolutely, yes.
And we've had American friends come over and watch it, and they've enjoyed it, so that's a good sign.
It feels like it needs to. That would be the other half of its journey, because it's about those two cultures. Your review of German Hercules made me jump on a plane to go see it. Where from? Was that a short flight? Was that a long flight? No one's ever told me I've made them get on a plane before. Although some people have said that we inspired a Broadway trip. So I guess that's the same thing. Any recommendations for Disney World in November? Yes, Brian, take me with you.
Mickey's never been.
I've never been. Take me with you. Go to Epcot.
We can only give
my love to Donald Duck.
It's been way too long since I've only ever been once. We can give tips for Disneyland Paris. That we can answer.
That we can do. We'll see Jar Jar's African hairbraiding at Arena Stage this month. Very sad to have missed it on Broadway.
I'd love to see Ocean at the End of the Lane again, and I think it will. It's kind of what Ocean at the End of the Lane is. I mean, one, it's for national, but also Ocean at the End of a Lane, Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime, and War Horse, I feel like are the three of the shows that the National will always bring back, and partly because they're always studied. So
they have broad appeal.
They've got really good appeal.
And they're really good. Really good. On the subject of Jonathan Bailey, what are you expecting for Wicked in Part 1? Do you think it's going to work or not? I think no film in recent memory has been scrutinized this much leading up to its release as Wicked. And I've been participating in that as well, and we've been commenting on like every trailer that's come out and every little snippet. I'm excited. Everything I've seen has made me excited. Is it like the perfect Wicked exactly as I've envisioned it, exactly as I would do it in my head? No, and it's not going to be. I still think it's going to be great. It's looking. I think it looks great. I think it's looking and sounding great, and there's nothing I've seen that's discouraging about that. And I think people need to calm down in terms of the pre-Wicked criticism. Go see the film first. What is the most interesting regional production you would want to see in America? That's a great question. I always get excited about stuff that they do in like Pasadena Playhouse, and places like that. In terms of like rather than just like tours, but like truly regional things.
My big thing's Spelling Bee.
Everything like the Kennedy Center is
production.
I
just want to see that production of Spelling Bee
because we want to see Tick Tick Boom. We didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, because I never seen.
Amazing.
Yeah, I never seen Tick Tick Boom live. I've never seen Spelling Bee live.
I don't even know Spelling Bee very well. Standing at the Sky's Edge has already done 2 outings at the Crucible. Yes. I think that's more than enough. Yeah, I think like, but years down the line was my thought process, because it's very special to Sheffield, as it should be. I need Legally Blonde back in the UK at some point too, and Waitress, as I never got around to seeing it. How did you miss Waitress? Oh no. There's always rumors about Waitress coming back, and it's the same producers. It's the Weislers, isn't it?
For
Waitress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same as Chicago.
Like Chicago will always do a surprise, like surprise, Chicago's back in the West End. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Waitress came back. I don't think it would take a lot for Waitress to come back. Do you think they'd ever turn Frecknell's Cabaret into a screen adaptation? Hot take, I don't want it. It's very about being in the space. Even a pro shop would struggle to capture that entire experience because so much of it is about the pre-show and it's about being situated there. And it's one of those pieces of theatre that's just so live and so in that location. It's not like all the way site specific, but
the bars are the pre-show is a big thing about it.
Yeah, it's about that atmosphere. And as someone else has said, the Fosse film is iconic and it's very different. They changed a lot for the cabaret film.
My big thing is that I'm excited to see the next musical that Rebecca Frecknell. Like, Rebecca Frecknell do more musicals because what I didn't know, and this was something that I found out maybe a few months back when I watched or read an interview with Rebecca Frecknell and realized that she had a deep love and history with musicals. And I was like, oh, now I'm fascinated to know more and to see what else there is, because I'd seen her productions of Tennessee Williams plays and I think she's an incredible director.
Summer and Smoke was peak. Yeah. Streetcar was also gorgeous.
So I'm very intrigued to see whether she always wants to do like an immersive edge to it with musical theatre, or if like I kind of now want to see her tackle a different musical.
I don't think the immersive element of cabaret came from her. I think that came from ATG. That felt like a very commercially built. Yeah, ATG.
I think it came from
I think that was very commercially built. Like, we want to build like a show that's also an experience. And it was a great decision.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like what they've done with that cabaret, the reason working so well in the UK, there's multiple factors. The star casting is a big factor in the way they keep bringing out this limited, like for the next like couple of months, it's these stars. Now it's these stars. Now it's these stars. But also the fact that you are getting a whole experience as well as a show. This is what audiences seem to want now and will justify paying more money for, it seems. And also, they managed to make it exciting enough that the young people want to go and classic enough that the old people want to go. It's the same thing Guys and Dolls did.
Yeah.
I think on the basis that Rebecca Frecknell knows her way around Tennessee Williams and those kind of vibes, I would love to see Rebecca Frecknell a little night music. Ooh. We are due a night music revival, and I think we could get a lot of like good repressed sexual tension from Rebecca Frecknell and like bring out a little more of the darkness to it, because it can be light and it can be comic, but there's themes that we can explore in night music.
Ooh, Witness for the... Yes, we have seen Witness for the Prosecution.
Love Witness for the
Prosecution.
Prosecution.
Seen it many times.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very cool.
What musicals have you seen? So many. So many.
And yes, we're going to see Why Am I So Single next week.
Next week. But Guys and Dolls is actually good. Brian, that's all. Keep her away from Sondheim. Let her touch my music. I mean, here you don't have to see it.
Yeah.
You don't travel.
You want to see it
here more than once a year? You stay in Manhattan. Go see.
I want to see her do more musicals.
You want to keep lamenting the revivals that you had 5 years ago? That's just fine. You do that, Brian.
I'd love to see theatre in Chicago. I feel like Chicago and like Seattle are the ones I've always heard of for like big theatre outside of New York.
Yeah. That's shade with the Dear Evan Hansen. We're about to get non-replica Dear Evan Hansens. That is about to begin. The fact that you said Akimbo, you love Akimbo. The fact that you're willing to let her, Brian, you're confusing me. Yeah, we're about to start getting non-replica Dear Evan Hansens around the world because Australian Evan Hansen, today's going to be a good day, and here's why, is starting this month, and so is Nottingham Playhouse Dear Evan Hansen, and I'm not about to attempt that accent. The only reason I know what a Nottingham accent sounds like is because it's Grace Hodger Young.
Yeah.
It's also Jacob Fowler, but he doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
With the revivals of Hello Dolly and Gypsy, any chance on Auntie Mame? Mame has a problem. Mame has a the South will rise again problem. It has a small Confederacy problem that needs the right director to present it satirically with care, or don't even say the words Jamie Lloyd Akimbo. I can't process that in my head. Jonathan, that's too much. Or a rewrite, basically. It may need a thoroughly modern Millie style rewrite. But I don't know how people would feel about a Mame rewrite because it's classic. Shuck Tour will also be National Theatre in Washington, D.C.
Oh, fun.
Also from Virginia, I have my tickets for Shuck Tour already. I can't wait. I missed it on Broadway. You're going to have a great time. It's really hard not to enjoy Shucked. It's a great time. Do you think there'll be a new Joseph movie? I think it should be animated. I don't know why. There's been an animated Joseph movie, but it wasn't the Lloyd Webber musical. Who remembers Joseph, King of Dreams? You know better than I. You know the way. You're looking at me blankly. Do you not know this song? I've let go the need to know why. There was a time every musical theatre tenor had that in their audition rep, I'm telling you.
Has got I got distracted by the writing out of it. It would be the entire show is her filming the video for Carmelita, and then it's all filmed VHS style, and at the end of the show, Kimberly removes her mic during Great Adventure.
Oh no. I can't with the Jamie Lloyd parody. My goodness.
We've never been to Japan, but I've heard it's really good for theatre.
I would love to go to Japan and see some theatre. My gosh. On the subject of that TikTok comment that just came in, do we think something was wrong with the car? Or do we think nothing was wrong with the car? I don't know. I'm not going to say it out loud. Chicago's hosting both Kimberly Akimbo and Shucked. I need to know, when is the right time to go one of these places and see as much as possible?
Regionally, is there a time where multiple shows are on at once? Because that's always handy if we go somewhere. Because
I need good coverage. Because they're going to a lot of these places, and I'd happily go to any of these places, but I want to go somewhere and not just fly to a part of the US just to see one tour.
I love that word, Schenectady.
Schenectady.
Because Shucked is going to Schenectady,
upstate New York, right?
Yeah, that's what they were saying.
That's Christopher Walken says that in Hairspray.
Schenectady.
You see all the way to Schenectady.
That would be a really good vocal warm-up.
Schenectady.
But on notes, because it's
I don't need. I know multiple tours won't be in the same city at the same time. I'm just adjacent places. When is there
or a tour's there and there's
or do a long
houses.
weekend and stay one to the next or whatever.
Yeah, or there's a tour and producing houses on at the same time.
Come to Philly, home of Brendan from Wait in the Wings. On the subject of Joseph movie, animated is probably the right way to go because I don't think it would be. I don't
There's
know.
loads of movie musicals that we haven't even heard about. Are they still happening? I feel like there's this big
What's on this island and
25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. There's tons of shows that are waiting. Oh, sorry. I realised I'm not in the one there.
There you go. Seeing Shucked in Orlando next year, first time to America, and hoping to do a stopover for a few days in New York.
Very fun.
Have a great time, Oren. There's been an influx of bootlegs posted online recently. What are your thoughts on this? Good or bad for getting more people into theatre?
I don't think it's a positive thing. We shouldn't promote bootlegs happening because it's not good for the people around said person who's filming in the theatre, because it's distracting and people are paid money to watch the show and it will distract them / distract the cast. And also, it's if the cast aren't aware that it's happening and their performance is going to be in perpetuity online, you can think how that could then harm one. Like, whereas
there have been impacts from that.
Whereas curtain calls, for example, or mega mixes at the end of a show, cast are aware that filming is going to happen there. So there's not a like with the 6 Mega 6, that is a thing that they know is going to happen.
Yeah.
But because there's that rule of them saying, like, we know you're going to film this, you should respect that and then not film during the show.
But the Megamix has also caused enough trauma. Like we have, a lot of people have been really affected by the Megamix and by the anxiety that alone has caused. It's like a known moment that people are going to film and it's going to immediately go online and get judged for new cast members and debuting understudies. My issue with...
Sorry, I was going to say, but a big important thing, but then the opposite side, not bootlegs, but in a wider sense, even with filming like curtain calls, etc., is there are so many people that are not near theatres that like that is the most they get to know about theatre. There are so many shows that people would not have seen were it not for like that amount of theatre. Like, so many people live vicariously and get theatre just from those little bits that they get to see online because of how expensive tickets can be or where you live. And so like there is this middle ground of positives and negatives. What we should be advocating for though more is pro shots.
Yeah.
Because pro shots mean that the show is, and it's been great to see more of them do it because it means that show gets to live on, but also all parties are happy.
Yeah. Being anti-bootleg is, I know, not the popular opinion these days because people talk about elitism and gatekeeping and accessibility, and all of that is true. The thing I can't get past, the thing I just cannot get past, is the idea of filming people in their place of work without their consent. And with perfect timing, Brian asks, what slime tutorial should I watch at the gym today? Thanks, Brian. Great job. Perfect little coda on the end of that.
I think that's the thing, Ben. Like, I think people's opinions change when a show's closed and it starts to change, and you see like performers like become happy that they
may all be happy about it at the time, but unless you have like the knowing consent of all those people on that stage, it's tricky. It's really tricky because it might be that people are like, oh, thank God this was filmed, and people share it and post like, oh, I was having a great day that day.
It's like the famous Alexia Kadim final Defying Gravity riff. Nobody would know what that happened. Like this weird thing of like, I'm glad that the producers of the concert last night filmed the diva tag so that people that weren't there, and it will live on, of Marisha and Alex doing And I'm Telling You together. But,
Ben, I watched Next to Normal. I watched multiple bootlegs of Next to Normal on Broadway back in the day, back in the
certain shows become iconic because of the bootlegs.
Mid-2010s. Yeah. But it's the same. I said this to Hannah Lowther in the YouTube video interview that I did with her, because she was like talking about like feeling guilty about like posting bootlegs when like performers like them, but like not wanting them, and like feeling like a bit of a hypocrite. And I said it's not hypocritical because it's like if someone were to A bootleg didn't bring Be More Chill to Broadway. The actual legitimate cast recording brought Be More Chill to Broadway. I will have you know. The thing is, actors get to, like, if they see like a great bootleg clip of them, they want to post it, then I think they can do that, because, I mean, encouraging it is one thing. It's like if someone takes a photo of you at a party and you're like, oh my God, that's really cute. Can you send that to me? Like this nice candid photo. But if someone takes a photo of you at a party, you're like, oh, I look horrible. I really hate that. And they go to you, well, I'm going to post it on the internet anyway. That's weird. That's weird behavior. Or if you take a photo of someone at a party, don't tell them and post it on the internet. That's also weird, unless you know them.
It's really tricky, because I don't think there's anybody. Ben,
I stand corrected. That is not the story they tell. That is not the story Joe Iconis tells.
The thing that I'll say is, like, I don't think anybody can deny that, like, some shows have massively benefited from those existing.
Yeah.
And, like, performers and, how would so many people know what each Elfie sounded like, because they're not going to be professionally recorded, and the differences, and like you look at the populars from all the famous Glindas, like the Megan Hiltys and the stuff. It's one where I'm like, I don't think you can promote saying it or say yes to it, because you can't really promote it, because it's the experience in person and how it can distract and like ruin people's day, and I don't think anybody should say it.
No, it's not okay. There are positives come out of it, but I can't.
So yeah, the positives only come ages after, really, and it's not.
Yeah, Tracy, you did see me walking past at Soho Place on Saturday. I spent the whole day there because I was seeing 3 shows there in a row. I saw Aladdin at Bradford and found it incredibly disappointing and cheaped out many of the spectacle that was in the original. I mean, there's lots staging-wise it can't do at UK touring theatres, so there's lots they have to scale back on by necessity, but I am sad of this, like, often confirmed narrative that the UK tours are always going to be a cheaper version. It's disappointing.
Sorry, that shocks me. What Kate just put.
There are shows where the recording in the library archives is a bootleg copy because it's all they got. Wow. What's the name of your show, Mickey? Trying to find for tickets. You can probably find it in my Instagram bio, but it's MickeyJoTheatre live at the Phoenix Arts Club. Come see me on September 22nd, October 20th, November 17th, whatever the Sundays are.
I fully agree on that, though. Nobody should be selling a bootleg. That categorically is a no-no. Making money off a full recording of a show that you've taken, or selling a copy that you didn't film, just as bad. Like,
does anyone actually do that?
It's a thing, I think.
I know how it used to be.
It's probably still a thing with so many shows and stuff and transferring and changing stuff, and I just think, no, like, it's somebody else's work.
Jeffrey, that story's amazing. I'm hoping you're still here, Jeffrey, because this comment's ages ago. My husband and I had just separately seen Dreamgirls with Jennifer Holliday that night in LA and met in a gay bar. Can't wait to celebrate your 40th anniversary with you. Oh my gosh, I love that story. That's amazing. Now I need Dreamgirls to go back to Broadway or touring or whatever.
So you can go and see it again.
So you can celebrate. That's a great show to have met.
Oh, we're only 30 roses away from hitting 100 on TikTok.
Don't be like Mac and Mabel and do send those roses.
Can we reach it?
Deep cut reference for you. I need Miss Saigon back, but in its original form. Interesting. I mean, I liked the revival, the Prince Edward revival. How much longer do you think Back to the Future has at the Adelphi?
It's really the West End. We don't have grosses, and we don't. And like, if you look at the there's been things recently that have been saying like, how do you know if the show's selling well in the West End? And to be honest, you can't look at the seating plans because different sites have different seats. So actually, how well it's sold is difficult to see. We don't show grosses. We don't show capacity of shows. So it's so difficult to talk about how long the show has here. And to be honest, a lot of the times when shows close, unless it's been actively spoken about by industry people, a lot of closures of shows come as a shock, where it's just announced and everybody's a bit like, oh.
Yeah. I think whatever happens with Back to the Future at the Adelphi at this point, it's done well.
Yeah.
Like it's had a really good and healthy run, and long may it continue. What else do we have here? What do you think will be the most interesting things that will come out next year, musical-wise? People have been asking me this. I feel like we're still waiting on a lot of announcements for next year, but we're not going to get as many new West End shows as long as everything continues to run, because a lot of stuff has come in and stayed. So like Back to the Future is still at the Adelphi. Mean Girls opened at the Savoy and stayed there. So we didn't get all these limited runs like we've had for the past year at the Savoy, with like Sunset and Plaza Suite and everything else.
Totro will have a lengthy run at
That's going to stay at the Julian Lynn. Theatre Royal Drury Lane is spoken for, so I guess Hercules is the most high-profile musical opening that we know. I've heard rumours about the Palladium next summer that are wild. Truly wild.
We don't know what's going to do Barbican next summer.
Don't know about Barbican. That's going to be one of the more interesting ones, but we're running out of options for where
there's so few theatres where we can say, oh, what could go there next?
Piccadilly is just Moulin Rouge.
And we
definitely. Hadestown at the Lyric indefinitely.
In a recent article, it was said that Why Much So Single's been given an open-ended run, as long as they can run. And
hopefully they find their audience.
Yeah.
I wish touring productions would come to Broadway like they do in the West End. They do sometimes. I mean, more stuff. There's shows that tour the US that we don't get tours of in the UK. Like a musical like Parade would not tour the UK. No. A music like Company didn't tour the UK and couldn't tour the UK. It needs to be very commercial in order to even tour the UK.
I think it's tricky as well because like tours take a really long time in America to even reach the end of the tour because it's such a big country.
Yeah. And it's also like tours come to New York, they come to upstate New York, but the equivalent here is like them coming to Wimbledon, which is still London, but we're so much smaller, we're so close together.
Oh no, I get what they mean though. They mean that it happens in the West End a lot, but it doesn't happen on Broadway.
Yeah. Do you usually have to buy your own tickets or can you go as media? So this has changed over the last few years. Usually I go as media. Usually I get press tickets, which is an enormous privilege. But we still buy tickets for things that we want to go to. If we anytime we go see something for the second time, usually
people are
buying our tickets.
This is crazy. Like my daughter works at the Sondheim and she's had people with smart glasses filming, and somebody said it's happened at Starlight too. Wow. I can't even get the concept of smart glasses in my brain that they exist. It just seems too futuristic.
Wow. My first ever role was playing Sandy the dog in Annie in year 7 because I didn't want to sing. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Was there a costume? I need to know about that. I need to know details about this. Sandy the dog in Annie in year 7. Human dog.
Cute.
Pre-Legally Blonde, Regent's Park, I'm assuming. In Belfast, they have Friends memberships. Silver is £40 a year, and you get 8 pairs of half-price tickets on opening night. And Gold, you get 12. Pay no fees for £60 a year. Both give you a week priority. That's a good deal. That's a good deal if you're planning to see a lot of those shows. And the Americans are hearing those prices and can't believe it.
Are you going to see some of the new cast in Hadestown? At some point we will, because I really want to see them both.
We will.
The 3 of the new cast members.
Do you know why they haven't released the new cast recording of Aspects of Love? My understanding is they recorded full new studio recording. My answer to this will surprise you. I don't know, but I would like to hear it. I think the score and the voices was the best part of all that. And I would like to hear it. I would like to hear Laura Pitt-Pulford's Anything But Lonely again, and various other parts of that score.
Oh, I do remember this. Aurora Part, I doubt you guys remember this, but once on your live asked if I should fly to London and see Two Strangers, I think. I remember that chat.
I did, yes.
I do remember that
Was
chat.
it from somewhere like Scandinavian-y?
Maybe. I definitely remember that discussion.
Yeah. There's Gatsby drama.
Oh, we've kind of heard about
There's alleged Gatsby drama.
Until
I'm willing
it's
to talk about
announced.
it, yeah.
Until it's announced, I just believe everything's in chats. She was one part of the original creation of it, and has worked with the book writer before. So it would excite me if that's the case, but I don't know. I won't believe it until we see it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Norway. You spoke Norwegian to me.
Hi. I do, what else to say? Yeah, jeg liker sjokolade. There you go. I know scarcely any Norwegian. You could travel to Washington, D.C. in February to see Shucked at the National, In the Heights at MickeyJoTheatre, and the Bedwetter Arena Stage. I feel like Kate suggested this.
The Bedwetter is really interesting to me because that's the Sarah Silverman musical.
That's in February. Oh, it's a good suggestion. What else do we have here? Do you think Heathers is coming to Broadway? I think it's going off Broadway, but I'll tell you more about that tomorrow.
I think it's a bit too early. It's too early to find out the next Chichester season.
Have you ever had tea at the Savoy? No, can't say I have. Have you been to Joe Allen in London? Also no.
No, but I walked past it. Me and Sean walked past it, and Sean was like, "Oh, that's Joe Allen. Why have I heard of it?" So
been to Joe Allen in New York. Been to Joe Allen in New York.
Have you?
We've both been there. We didn't eat there, but we went there for an event.
That was Hardy's.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
We have not been to Joe Allen's.
I take it all back.
Because we nearly went into Joe Allen's when we went with Ashley and Kate, but we needed to run somewhere in London.
Yeah. How full is Wicked at the Apollo Victoria? Isn't that over 2,000 seats? It is, which is an extraordinary space to fill, and I don't know.
That's the time I was thinking of Kate.
Kate's been to Joe Allen
in London, and Ashley has.
Yeah.
So we dropped them off.
Yeah. I don't know how full Wicked is at the Apollo Victoria because we don't release grosses in the UK, and I don't need to speculate about it. I don't need to do that. On the train home after seeing Next to Normal, it was so good. Jack Wolf is incredible. Jack Wolf is incredible. All of them are incredible.
Have you heard anything about Death Note getting a full production? Nothing new. Other than I think they're hoping that some people will
Aren't they performing at Magic at the Musicals?
I don't know.
I don't know. Did I make that up?
I don't think when I said the list I said it.
Maybe I made that up. Will you be seeing any of the Dear Evan Hansen tour shows? We're seeing it in Nottingham.
Yes. Oh, 9 was done recently regionally in the US, but I heard nothing about it whilst it was on.
There's lots of exciting music in 9. Is the premise inherently a little misogynistic?
I really do not know much about that musical, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's a show that I really don't know anything about.
Kennedy Center did 9. Shout the Americans. Never going to talk about the Britney musical. Is that a statement or a question? Would you like me to talk about the Britney? I did not see the Britney musical. Have you heard anything about an Elf Broadway stint with Josh Gad this holiday season? I heard the same rumor you did, but it would have already announced by now, surely.
It would have to announce this week or next week if it was actually happening.
After Wicked, what do you think will be the most exciting musical movie? What else is happening after Wicked? If Wicked goes well, watch them greenlight a bunch of movie musicals because the only people more fickle than theatre producers are movie producers.
Kiss of the Spider-Woman was meant to be filming, but who knows if that's happening.
That audiences have seen it. It's had screenings.
Well, I know, but then also...
Oh, because Ben Affleck's the producer on it. Oh.
Exactly.
Kiss of the Spider-Woman may end up
there's the whole Joker thing of is it a musical?
Yeah. What do you eat for breakfast? I like protein Weetabix every day. And then I either go to the gym or go for a run. It's really sad. It's really sad. How much longer can Doubtfire run? It seems to be doing well here in the UK. People love it. Listen, dads will go to Doubtfire. And if you can get dads to go to a musical, you can get the whole family to go to a musical, and then you're selling 4 tickets, 5 tickets, 3 tickets, 6 tickets. So they're doing just fine. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they were to conclude the run at some point and do a tour, because Jamie Wilson might want to put other things in that theatre because he has a 10-year lease.
So musical movies having a bad look, I think let's go back and say that is because in a lot of the marketing campaigns don't want to let people know that it's a musical. That's why I think a lot of them haven't done well recently, is because they've tried to appease to people that they think won't go to see a musical movie, and in turn haven't promoted the fact that it's a musical to the musical, like, and just expected like people that like musicals will go anyhow, which actually the trailers and the marketing turns people off because they think they're not respecting the art form and the material. Which is then when you look back and you think about the success that Greatest Showman was, which fully owned the fact that it was a musical.
Yeah, they go so back and forth. Like, oh, you like music? Oh, you like musicals now? Oh, you don't like music? Oh, you do? Oh, you do. Whenever movies are marketed as musicals, they also don't do well, unfortunately. Greatest Showman was marketed as a musical.
I think they're also like one that's marketed as a musical. Sometimes it can like just be a slow burner, but then will sell really well.
Yeah. Burlesque is not going to go into the Shaftesbury. Jamie Wilson has a 10-year lease on that theatre. Yeah. It's going to be Jamie Wilson produced shows. Potentially we might see The Notebook coming over here.
Or like Just for One Day.
Or Just for One Day.
Two ones that he's produced that he said wants to go to London.
Yeah. Thank you for the super thanks. I hope you enjoyed. What happened to Oh My God Hey weekly vlogs? I said this a little while ago that this was a long time ago that I stopped doing weekly vlogs.
A year ago, maybe.
Yeah, it was a long time. I was looking at the playlist the other day and see. I think we kept them going for like a year.
Yeah,
we spent a long time doing weekly vlogs. The problem was it meant like vlogging every single day, every single theatre trip, constantly trying to like make everything content, and also adding in more things into the week, like saying yes to more shows, doing more things, and it was too much.
And I think as well there was a thing of not knowing if they were like, if people were finding them or seeing them.
And like, if you want to know what Mean Girls is like in the West End, you can search on YouTube Mean Girls West End vlog and find Aaron's on Aaron's channel.
So I've been trying to start to do like show specific vlogs, so post journeys,
rather than finding it in Mickey Jo's weekly vlog number 112. Like,
It feels like it's an easier way of showing things.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like vlogging on the go with, oh gosh, that's still plugged in, with DJ Cosmo, my new vlogging camera. Hello.
There was doubles of like, should we make it like, should I be doing the weekly vlogs rather than like just the show specific? But actually I feel like
break a leg on your audition at Emerald.
It's easier for people to find.
Yeah.
If they just want to watch interest of the show. But
Kayla, we're all manifesting a 42 Balloons West End transfer, but we need it to make smart decisions and do the Operation Mincemeat thing and like build the audience before like opening cold.
That's my same thing with Babies.
In the West
I think if Babies comes back, which I felt like it has to because it did so well.
Yeah. Every show needs to find the right route to the West End or Broadway for them.
They should grow properly so that they can do the right size, like that size theatre.
Well, Phantom extend again. Yeah, Phantom's open-ended. Phantom's going to keep extending. Phantom's not limited. Don't worry about Phantom.
Aiden, we both really like Next to Normal.
Loved it. Heavy though. Have you seen the new cast of Operation Mincemeat?
Maybe we're seeing
them really soon.
Maybe.
Really soon. What have we got over here on YouTube? Either that or A Knight's Tale. Knight's Tale hasn't even had its regional tryout yet.
They will not have planned the theatre.
Way ahead of yourself.
Oh, Kate's on YouTube now.
But
that was ages ago. So Kate might also have gone back to here because I've been seeing Kate on TikTok.
2 show days are hard work. Yeah, and then don't even think about the Edinburgh Fringe. Don't talk to me about 10 show days, my goodness. Saw Death Becomes Her in Chicago. Definitely can be fun. Not sure the substance itself is going to hold up to NYC critics. But at the same time, and I'm not here to say the critics don't matter, because obviously But does every show, are people going to see Death Becomes Her on the basis that like, oh, I hope that like the New York Times thought this was dramaturgically and structurally satisfying from a theatrical perspective?
I think it's just trickier with New York though, that there is so much more weight with critics. And I feel like in London, like it has to be that they all like, it's either they love the show or it has to be a very dramatic the other way for a big reaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think the pricing system with New York means that people have to have a crutch.
Yeah. Ben, that's exactly, I agree with you. Exactly, absolutely. It is.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. It is the higher prices in New York mean the reviews matter more, but do the reviews matter that little bit less more for something that's inherently like campy based on a film? Like, I know they still matter much more so than in London. The Hills of California rehearsed in London for their New York run. They start previews next week. Looking forward to it. I really hope the Hills of California does well.
I do, because they're amazing.
I feel very paternal about the Hills of California.
2 show days are hard work to watch it, and I think even more harder to be in them.
But if anyone wants a recommendation for my like hardcore theatre people in New York, and I know there's many of you, Hills of California stereophonic 2 show day
would be very
70s cool vibes.
If you're into plays,
wear some bell bottom jeans and like a nice
also that would
coat.
That will be 2 3+ act shows, because Hills of California is 3 acts, and I think Stereophonic's 4.
Yeah,
technically, but they Stereophonic just has an interval, and Hills of California has an interval and a pause.
Yeah. Seeing Hills of California Our Town 2 show day in 3 weeks. Wow. There you go. Ben, you're not wrong about film to stage and not doing as well in New York. Does much better in London for whatever reason. Yeah,
Stereophonic has 4 acts, but it's like kind of weird. So it's only a 2-act play, but it's like it feels more like chapters, I think, how they do it, compared to then if you did a full day of The Inheritance, which was,
I'm wondering if
like a 6-part Netflix series.
I'm wondering if Death Becomes Her will I hope it does well, and I'm wondering if it's cornering the market on camp, at least for a little while. Like, what else is Sunset's coming in giving you darker sunset? What else is giving you camp?
Yeah.
And I don't know, is camp enough? I don't know. Is it bedtime yet? That's up to you. Jennifer Coolidge for Norma Desmond. It's your bedtime, Sam McInerney, because that's insane. I'm intrigued by it. But what if Jennifer Coolidge was Betty?
Anyhow, have you heard anything of Next to Normal going across the pond? I think only what everybody's kind of feeling is hopefully it does, but don't know when.
Tammy Faye is not as camp as it could be, honestly.
No.
Or as much as the marketing is making it. Tammy Faye is like...
It's kind of sad, I'll be honest.
Tammy Faye is Beautiful, the Tammy Faye musical.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And you'll understand why.
It's got like a darkness to it.
Smash, Boop, and Mattress are all camp. Tell me which of those is running concurrently with Death Becomes Her when it opens, Brian. Mattress is closed. Smash and Boop won't have started yet. I'm saying when it opens, it will be cornering the market on camp. Tammy Faye is apparently going to be much more camp on Broadway. Interesting. That's probably a good decision. The latest on Next to Normal that everyone is hearing rumors-wise, you're right, and Juliet's camp, is Next to Normal waiting until next season, which is smart because it's female star vehicle led.
That's right, Kate's come back here because this is going quicker. Should we see if we can...
Yeah. You can answer some.
Yeah.
On TikTok.
Okay.
I was just talking about this on TikTok and in my notebook closing video that Dan John's saying here, have people struggled with sad musicals recently? This is an interesting thing. I'm pretty sure your mum replied to my TikTok about this the other day. Yeah. But are people more reluctant post-pandemic to go see something discernibly like sad and poignant? Do people want uplifting escapism,
I feel like
happy clappy?
I feel like a sad musical has to have a song, like songs that people have a big, deep connection with, and that will make them go to see it.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like sad musicals also seem to have always relied on the date night couple, and that's like you don't see many sad musicals being able to get families or groups go to them.
Yeah.
So then you're relying on just like two people.
You're right about The Outsiders. Outsiders is a big sad hit. Merrily's different. Merrily was a prestige audience, and art and quality and star vehicle. And it wasn't like someone said, I don't know, people keep going to Hadestown. The gasps at Hadestown teach us people don't know that Hadestown is sad. People think it's flowers and earth tones and acoustic guitars.
That's fascinating. So Sarah Brightman's got much better reviews over the weekend after opening in Sydney. Interesting.
Maybe we do. I'm open to doing a comparison video of the new Sunset Boulevard reviews. I'm sure it'll just be like a slight adjustment, as I don't know if that has enough mileage for a whole review. And also, I'll be honest, nearly ended up in court the last time I talked about that production. So maybe I won't.
Thank you so much for all the roses. I think we're like really close to hitting.
Thank you for the roses, everyone on TikTok.
We just got it. We got the goal achieved. Thank you so much.
Aaron achieved his live goal. Amazing. What is your comfort show that you love? Two Strangers was that. Mary Poppins was that for a long time. Do you plan on taking the tram when you go to Nottingham to see Dear Evan Hansen? This is my face in real time discovering there's a tram. Amy, what do you mean there's a tram? Are you serious? Oh my gosh. There's a tram in Nottingham.
I think I knew this.
And you didn't tell me? There's a tram. Yes. If it makes sense to. But yes, I will find a way to take the tram. I do love a tram. Thank you for knowing that. I just came back from Kathy and Stella today. It's so fun. I hope you enjoyed. Did you guess? Don't say who the murderer is, but did you guess?
Yeah, did you get it right?
On the topic of Shucked, what is happening? Do you think it's possible that given that Alex Newell's role is pretty impossible for many other people? What do you mean what is happening? Do you mean with West End? It quietly delayed until winter 2025 is what happening. Oh, everyone's sending you flame hearts.
It's a flame heart.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Shucked, we haven't had an update, but when they closed on Broadway, Shucked announced that, or they just restated that West End was going to happen in winter 2025, which is not what was originally announced. And I don't think Alex Newell's role is impossible for many other people. Alex Newell sings it a different way to what is written. You don't have to do all the opt-ups that Alex Newell does, but like Claudia Karaoke could sing that song. Marisha could sing that song. A lot of people could sing that song. Karen Mav could sing that song. Will there be a meet and greet to meet you guys? At the live show, at MickeyJoTheatre Live, I assume is what you mean. The tickets at the front, and it says on the website, come with a pre-show meet and greet, and we can take a photo on stage and we can chit-chat. And I try and chat to everyone during the show. It's a very intimate kind of a sitch. And hopefully afterwards, if there is time, I will do my best, but I can guarantee that in the meet and greet seats, there will definitely be an opportunity. Yes. And Aaron will be hanging about.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm normally on the merch booth.
Yeah. So you can go and chat to Aaron and buy some merch. Oh, Aaron's been designing some great merch.
Mickey's doing a live show.
Yes.
He's got 3 coming up later this year.
I am bringing the late night chat show back to the West End at the Phoenix Arts Club beneath Stranger Things in the West End. And I'm very excited. It's been very fun curating guests and things like who are the people I would like to hear chat and hear sing certain songs. And the best part of it is so it's a show. It's think of like those like TV talk shows.
It's like a chat show.
But my channel name, I'm MickeyJoTheatre. If you're talking to me,
Yeah, so Mickey Joe Theatre on
That's the channel name on YouTube.
YouTube is his big channel.
Sorry, we're talking to multiple social media platforms at the moment. Where did I get to? Yes, chatting about like theatre, current events, and then one of the really fun things is going to be like, oh, if I have this person perform, I can make them sing this song. And that's something that you will see over the next few shows. I'm very excited about it.
No, the seats don't move at Starlight. It's just the seats at the front, you will just get surrounded by. I mean, those seats are like the most immersive seats because they will be skating right around you.
Yeah. With off-West End transfers, I always think much better to see in a smaller theatre, cheaper tickets, and a much more intimate experience.
I also think if you see it there, then you get to see when it transfers how it changes and evolves, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time as well, when they transfer, sometimes those people can't carry on with the show because they've got other projects.
Yeah.
So I've got to see that cast.
Whose birthday was it? You're talking about the cards that are behind us.
That was my birthday.
Eagle Eyes. That was Aaron James's birthday in August.
And now it's Mickey's at the end of the week.
Yeah, next weekend. We are very close together. And we're both born in the same year.
Yeah.
We are that close in age. Are you going to see Fiddler on the Roof? Yes, if it kills us. Because we've heard great things about that production. Big fan of some of the cast members, friends in the cast. Tried once, didn't work. Going to try again.
I loved Who Do You... We both really loved Who Do You Love. We saw it twice.
Loved Who Do You Love? Oh my gosh.
Who Do You Love?
Did see it twice. That show had no business being as good as it was.
Yeah.
Very surprised, very pleasantly surprised by that show.
We're hoping to see Angelia on tour as well.
Yes, possibly soon.
Whoa.
I saw that.
Wow.
In the Heights movie flopped though, so a Broadway revival is unlikely, I would say.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive.
No, I don't either.
I think there's a ton of regional productions, and I feel like you can't do Broadway when there's loads of regional productions, so that's probably more of a factor.
Yeah. I'm so obsessed with the 8-date single from Why Am I So Single? I can't wait to hear a full cast recording. The whole score is great.
Yeah.
There's a new song that we haven't heard yet, but the whole score is great.
Yeah.
I would abandon it all. And honestly, the best songs in the show, especially for musical theatre references, you haven't even heard yet. They're keeping a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
So you have to go see it at the Garrick Theatre. Why Am I So Single? I'm telling you, musical theatre fans, if you're watching us live right now, you will enjoy Why Am I So Single. That is what I have to say to you. Because if you enjoy our content, there's lots for you to like about that show. Who would you have star in a West End production of Gypsy? If it's just all about talent and not about like, if I don't have a marketing brain and I'm not trying to think about like who's like a recognizable star name or whatever, then there's lots. I'd like to see a Samantha Spirit. They did a concert at Alexandra Palace a couple of years ago where they had like 7 different gypsies. And Sally Ann Triplett was one of them, and Rebecca Locke was one of them, and Melanie LaBarry was one of them, and Samantha Spiro was one of them. And I need each of those productions, basically. Yeah. But also Leia Salonga needs to do it at some point.
That would be my big one, because Leia Salonga was phenomenal.
Yeah. Maz Murray before too long. Maz Murray Gypsy, please.
Will we ever see the NT's musical of The Witches again? I hope so. I think so. I think so. I think they're trying to. My guess would be that now that they've done a run and they've seen how it works, that they will be working on it to then develop like a more commercial or like fix anything that, because it landed well, but it didn't land, I think, as strongly as they'd hoped.
Yeah.
I think so they'll have learnt, and hopefully we see like an evolved version of it. I'm also waiting to now see when Nanny McPhee lands, because that's been supposedly coming for a while.
Yeah. That's very true. Very true. And that could be huge. If you could bring a show to the West End, even if it has no fan base, what would it be? Good question.
Thank you, Jonathan, for all the gifts.
Show in the West End, even if it had Ragtime.
Yeah.
Ragtime. Even if it has no relevance to a British audience, that score is one of the best ever written. That show is one of the best ever written. In terms of that book and that score and everything about it. Wicked doesn't last 4 hours on stage. I think the 2 movies will just feel bloated and dragged out. I mean, it lasts 2.5. I don't know, because it's all of the stuff that we don't get to see on stage. We've seen sneak peeks of in the trailers that make me the most intrigued. Like when we saw Baby Elphaba, everyone was losing their minds.
Yeah.
So I'm not judging until I see it. I refuse to. You can't make me. Speaking of Wicked, there was a nice interview with Marissa Bode during the US broadcast of the Paralympics with some behind-the-scenes footage. That's very cool. I love that they did that. Have you seen a production of 9? No, I have not seen a production of 9. I've seen the film, and I've seen lots of material from 9. I have not seen 9. When's the last time 9 was done in the UK? Goodness. Good morning in Australia, Daniel.
Yeah,
Post.
Australians have all woken up.
Whereabouts in Australia? Have you seen Sunset yet? Are you seeing Dear Evan Hansen? These are my Australia questions.
Have you booked tickets? Are you close enough to see Titanic in Australia? Because they're in rehearsals.
Australia. Titanic. Charlotte. I've lost it. A Jamie Lloyd Gypsy would be amazing.
This is when we were talking about Rebecca Frecknell.
I wouldn't mind a Jamie Lloyd Gypsy because it's one of those shows we've seen done the same way aesthetically so many times.
Do you know I forgot that she'd said that she wants to direct Company?
Frecknell?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to direct Company.
A lot of people have asked about Future Life of Two Strangers. Just, we think it will go off Broadway next because there's, if you didn't see, Baz did an article where he said that both Just for One Day was going to Toronto, and that Two Strangers was looking to see about off Broadway, and I think it'll go there first. Hopefully, then that would even raise its profile even more, and people will get more and more in love with it, and then maybe we'll see more.
Calla Lily, did you see the night music at Ogunquit with Julia Murney and I was going to say Kathleen Marshall. I mean Kathleen Turner. Did you see it? Did you see it? I so wanted to see it, but it was too brief. I'm intrigued about how Left on 10th is in November. Intrigued about that.
Hopefully we'll get to see you.
Yes, stay tuned to find out when we're next going to New York. Plans are in the making.
If you do see us, just in general, please say hi.
Yeah, anywhere in the world. If you see us,
please say hi.
Do say hello, because it's.
I always feel bad when I see messages and it's like I saw you, but I didn't want to disrupt you or do anything. I'm like, please say hi.
I'm never even if we're filming talking to a camera, I'm never filming something so important that we can't say hello to an actual human being.
Yeah.
Please come say hello. Would you ever want to be in the Tony's press room? I don't know. Because I worry about not getting to see the broadcast. This
was my thing with the Olivier's.
I want to bask in it.
Yeah, and I think you don't get to see the speeches and the empoweringness of it. So I think it's interesting to see the conversations and the questions that are asked. But I feel like I like being in the room and supporting everyone.
Yeah, I want a Starlight Express movie. I don't even begin to know how that would work. Joseph King of Dreams Stan. Yes, that's how far back I am with these questions.
Yes, please interrupt, honestly, because I remember Cora was saying this, that was them at Two Strangers at the Kiln.
What's a non-musical movie you think would be great as a musical? Miss Congeniality. Literally, someone's replied. Miss Congeniality. Miss Congeniality is the correct answer.
I forgot about this. Alyssa put, my friend met you and you made a video for me. It was so kind, so thank you.
Aww, that's good. Did MJ and Aaron read this chat? Yes, we're just slow. I'm very sorry. We're live on 2 different platforms simultaneously. Have you heard about the Lord of the Rings musical in Chicago?
So we saw it in Newbury.
We saw it here first.
And we saw it in Newbury, and then our friend Kate saw it in Chicago to see the different versions. I worked on it when I was at Newbury.
I will try and see Gypsy with Audra, of course. That's looking to be one of the theatrical events of the year on Broadway. If you could go back in time and see any show with the original cast, what show would it be? Aaron is going to say...
Rent. The original cast of Rent.
Mickey Jo is going to say...
Into the Woods.
Correct. Follies, also a great answer. I'd love to see the Patti LuPone revival of Sweeney Todd. Oh, yeah. Mickey Jo and Aaron, how will you celebrate your 40th anniversary? Of marriage or of being together? Because I don't know when. We don't have a date for a wedding. Although we are engaged, if people didn't know.
We always have the funny story of how that happened.
Yes.
Will we both be at MusicalCon? Hopefully. We haven't like fully set plans for it, but we're hoping so. And Mickey has his live show on the Sunday in the West End. So
Sunday evening, come to Mickey J Live. And we can all just nap together. It'll be a very low energy Mickey J Live after we've all destroyed ourselves at MusicalCon. No, I will drink a lemonade and I will rally.
We've not heard anything about Hunger Games. I've got to the point where I feel like it's.
I keep forgetting.
I think
Hunger
it's
Games is
definitely
happening.
next year now because we would have heard. By now, if it was this year.
Shutch is quietly delayed till the winter 2025.
I think just theatres have not been as free, and also Shut's got the tour. And I think if I've learned anything, it's that I kind of feel like when Broadway shows announce a tour and the West End, they can't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
And normally, like they are. I think we were having this chat recently that often shows are making changes after Broadway to find a new permanent version. Like if things didn't fully work, that's when they make changing times, and they use the West End as like that debut for the new version.
Yeah.
And they seem to use the North American tour as like that stepping stone between the two.
Yeah. Hannah, I hope you enjoy your first trip in London. Oh my goodness, that's a great selection of shows. How can Phantom in London still be considered running since 1986 when it's now a totally different production? The word's totally different there, doing a lot of legwork, because it is, by and large, it's a slightly adapted, slightly edited, slightly restaged production. It is largely the same thing.
Les Mis is a much more different change.
Les Mis has changed more sizably, but Les Mis as a musical has been running in the West End for that many years. Phantom has been running at that one theatre.
And it's the same producer.
Since 1986. It is still the Phantom of the Opera. I don't have an enormous amount of time for it's not Phantom anymore, because it's still Phantom. It's still Phantom. He's on a winged horse.
We've seen ABBA Voyage, but we just haven't seen it. But that was when it opened. Yeah.
They don't have like cast changes and things to get to, like, it's just.
Our friends recently went to see it though, and they had a very fun time. You were saying about how you'd love to have seen a Rachel Tucker Diana.
I nearly said this to her the other day. Like, Next to Normal, Rachel Tucker would be great in Next to Normal. So excited about the Lightning Thief musical at the Other Palace. Yeah, we haven't heard a lot about that in a while. I need them to announce the casting that they teased, because I feel like it's now just an open secret that they haven't officially talked about.
Yeah.
My biggest hot take: Phantom has had its time in the West End. You say that, and I see things like that, and I'm like, okay, so one more theatre becomes available. So like, one more show can like the West End is big, and right now there's a scarcity of theatres, sure, but that won't last forever. Eventually, Back to the Future will close. Eventually, Moulin Rouge will close.
I had this chat recently though, where like it can become easy to forget that like the West End is a tourist destination for people from all over the world, including like all of Europe, like mainly like Europe. Like the West End is kind of the closest equivalent to Broadway. Like it's the big epicenter where loads of long running shows are, and like they have memories of the show and then want to take their kids to see the show when they grow up. And like, when do you get that with shows? I think that's a big reason why we have generations of people loving theatre, where somebody can grow up and watch a show and then be able to take their children to see that show and pass that down. That is really stunning in a way.
Yeah. I didn't say foreign productions don't go to Broadway. I said touring productions. And I didn't say, I was replying to a comment that said it didn't say foreign productions. Yonder Pouches should maybe become a thing at shows. They are at some shows. They did that at Great Gatsby at ART. They did it at Take Me Out on Broadway. It creates a lot of traffic afterwards, but otherwise I really don't see many downsides.
That's about the Sandy costume.
My Sandy costume. Oh yes, this is the person who played Sandy and Annie in Year 7. My Sandy costume was basically a cheap knockoff Scooby-Doo. Oh, that sounds kind of tragic, but I love it. Les Mis is even more radically changed, and they still claim it's the same show running since the 80s. It is the same show. It's a different production. It's the same musical. It is the same musical. And you know what? they changed the musical like many times over the years. Loads has been cut from Les Mis. Loads has been changed
when
in Les
it
Mis.
transferred between different theatres, because it went from Barbican to the Palace to the Queen's, but then became the Sondheim, so it had to change because of size.
Harley, Warhorse and Mary Poppins are both amazing.
And they're very different.
Very different. Mary Poppins, like, magical, musical, enchanting.
Very Disney.
Warhorse, striking, really strong
Play.
visuals, great stagecraft.
Puppetry.
If you're someone who wants to go into theatre, probably Warhorse.
I don't know.
I mean, but not Mary Poppins, but like...
like
if you want to go into theatre, like as a director, as a creative in a technical role, like there's lots to learn from Mary Poppins, but also Warhorse. Aaron loves Mary Poppins, and I love Mary Poppins, but
I think that's we'll agree to disagree on that comment.
Okay. I'll file that with the Midlands is closer to the Lake District than the South Coast.
No, that is not what. That is not how you first worded it.
Nearer.
But it's just not near.
I'm going to lose my mind. Death Becomes Her. We will watch Death. If we go see the Broadway show, which we're going to try and do, we will watch the film of Death Becomes Her beforehand.
Good morning. I'm gathering, Tyler, you're in Australia.
Good morning, Australia. Oh.
You know they're trying to say something when they jump down.
What else do we have here? Can amateur theatre critic online be invited to review shows? Yes. Build something substantial enough that you can offer something to the productions. Make sure, like, develop an audience. Once you have an audience, reach out.
Look at local theatre and look at your local theatres.
Look at local theatres. Look at the ones that maybe are more in need of reviews, smaller productions that are grateful for the coverage. Start there, build a profile. Have you seen Fiddler in Regent's Park? No, we've tried to. We will before the end of its run, I promise you.
Oh, Tyler, I get what you mean. Sorry, that's funny. And good morning, because it's 1:09 a.m.
Oh, I see, yeah. Haven't seen Wizard of Oz at the Gillian Lynn. Would love to go see the Vivian in it. I don't know if we'll get a chance to before the end of its run, but have seen the production both at the Leicester Curve and the Palladium. And it's a very fun time. Yeah, it's a very fun time. It's very bright, it's very colourful, it's very exciting, very creative.
We had a lot of fun in that show trying to look at all the different Ozified Broadway posters.
Hello from Phantom of the Opera World Tour in China. Hope you're both well. Hope you're enjoying China. Amazed you can get onto YouTube. Hope we finally get a Spring Awakening movie. Listen, Steven Sater is trying to make that happen. Needs the Fun Home movie to happen already. Yeah.
Oh, a Fun Home. Oh, I also want a Kathy and Stella movie, and we both thought that Two Strangers would work really well as a movie as well.
Yeah. I agree about the themes being difficult in the Spring Awakening movie, but we had Les Mis, and we've had The Colour Purple, and West Side Story. All of those deal with those same kind of themes that you're talking about there. When are you going to Disney next?
We have not been in a very long time.
It's been a long time.
Hopefully before the end of the year.
Hopefully before the end of the year. Maybe we'll tie it in with some Parisian theatre. Are you seeing the Dear Evan Hansen tour? Yes, we're seeing its official opening night in Nottingham at the Nottingham Playhouse in a couple of weeks.
I'm excited because I haven't been to the Nottingham Playhouse before.
Stranger Things: The First Shadow. Do we think we will get a pro shot? If so, why is it taking so long to get it done? They don't want to release it because they want fans to keep flying in to come and see it. They don't want to film the pro shot. For many shows, I don't think a pro shot hurts your business. I think they makes people more excited to see it.
Yeah, because I think people would then want to see it live. I think that happened with Hamilton.
But I don't think that's the case with Stranger Things, because a huge part of it is going to find out what it tells you. And like they've marketed like, this holds the key to the next season, which I don't think it does. We won't know until we see the next season, and we might be like, oh yeah, that makes sense because of the play. But I don't think it does. Not really. It's not packed full of wild revelations that we don't already know.
Oh, Corey, The Producers is being revived in the. So The Producers is being revived in the UK off West End, and then Beauty and the Beast is going on a US tour. Which has already been to the UK and Australia.
Yeah.
and I think different countries near Australia.
Teeth is camp. Teeth is camp. Hills of California and Gypsy 2 Show Day, also so true.
But
So
Teeth,
true.
Teeth is camp that adult. So that you can't take a family to go and see Teeth.
Yeah. Why do such popular musicals not return to theatres, e.g. Sunset, without Nicole? I don't know if Sunset would have been as popular without Nicole.
I think it was also filling. It was also there. I think with Sunset there was a gap, and that show went in that gap.
Yeah.
And I think some things are built to be like as a limited run, and then they do well, but they've been built as a limited run without the option.
Yeah,
just naturally.
Yeah, and I think theatre's a challenging investment. I don't think there's the inclination to just like that did quite well, so we'll try it again and hope it continues to make money. They made a huge amount of money.
There's also like people not knowing whether the show. Sometimes you don't know what element of it is what's getting people to buy the tickets.
Yeah, sometimes something is successful in that moment for whatever reason,
and and they don't want to take the risk. I mean, I feel like Anything Goes at the Barbican. The 2 years were received very differently.
Yeah, that's a great example. And theatre is inherently ephemeral and temporary. You might have some more questions down here, man.
Oh, interesting. Talking about whether Swifts is a sad musical.
Brian, I don't think that's happening anymore. What else do we have up here? I cry no less than 3 times during Suffs, and I can't wait to see it again. Maybe not a sad musical per se, but it definitely has sad parts. Yeah, true. I say as much as Hamilton does.
Yeah, we love Suffs.
Love Suffs. I also cry during Suffs. I cry because Emily Skinner.
Alyssa, we absolutely loved Canada and would love to go back.
Would easily go back to Canada.
Easily.
Loved it. Lempika was camp. True. Any plans to bring Mickey J live to NYC? Given the opportunity, absolutely, why not? Absolutely, why not? I had so much fun doing it in... yes, it was in the cards because she went to see it twice on Broadway. Sorry, I'm doing 2 things. I had so much fun doing the first Mickey J live. I now just want to do it again and again and again. And yeah, I would do it in New York. I don't begin to know how...
You make it... I mean, we've heard from friends it's very difficult financially to make it work.
Yeah, so. It's a difficult climate for cabaret.
And knowing when and where is best and stuff like that.
Yeah. Brian, what are you... Okay, Brian's fallen off the elliptical, everybody. If anyone's in the greater Times Square, Manhattan area, if someone can go check on Brian, the business analyst who may have sustained an injury at the Manhattan gym.
Your friend lives in the Western side.
Yes. I have a friend who lives in the western side of Canada, so any excuse to travel over there. I was going to answer Brian's question because he just fell off the elliptical. I think I can say this now. Allegedly, I mean, it's true, but allegedly, Imelda Staunton saw Kimberly Akimbo, was given comp tickets to see Kimberly Akimbo 2 nights in a row on Broadway.
But that's all we know.
Which would only happen if someone was like, come see what you think about maybe playing this role. And now we've heard it's not happening. I think Maria Friedman should do it.
Lempika was camp.
The Roommate is camp. Good. That's exactly what I wanted it to be.
O'Mara's.
Any update on the Motive in the Queue New York transfer? Nothing that I've heard, but I'd be shocked if it didn't. Are you going to New York for Broadway Flea Market? No, because it's the same weekend as MickeyJoTheatre Live at the Phoenix Arts. And honestly, we need to be restrained.
Yeah.
I saw Little Night Music at Ogunquit. Oh yes, you did see it. It was amazing. Someone else said they saw it as well. Loved it, but Kathleen not so much. Interesting. Have you ever watched Heathcliff with Cliff Richard? I'm not a big Cliff Richard fan, I'm sorry to say, because he did a lot of anti-gay crusade stuff in decades past, and maybe he's apologized for that. I don't follow enough of his work to really know, but I'm not a huge fan. I never really have been. So
We haven't been to Hampstead in a long time.
haven't been to the Hampstead in a long time, but I will say at their press nights they do fantastic post-press night food. Not that matters, but they do. The Miller's Son at Ogunquit is probably the best I've ever heard that song. Do you think we'll ever see the Ken Wright production of Joseph again? I don't think so. I was just thinking that. Not for some time. No, I think it's going to default to the Palladium.
I think, unfortunately, once the rights go, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's that case. Once they lost the rights, they'd have to get the rights back, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, after London, we're going to Disneyland Paris. Hannah, enjoy Disneyland Paris.
Oh, you enjoy.
Oh my gosh, make the most of the early mornings. If you can, you can get a lot of stuff done and then just relax and vibe for the rest of the day.
We have heard about immersive, like seen all the things about immersive Phantom of the Rumors. I worry, it makes me nervous because there's a level of immersive that I'm happy with if it's like moving around, and I don't know whether that means it would be scary Phantom or like what level, I'm very 50-50 on if I personally would want to see it or enjoy it, and I feel like you might get scared off by it.
I think I would know what the rules of engagement were
Mm-hmm.
and it so depends how I'm feeling as well. I don't know. Positive comments for Aaron's shirt. Isn't it a nice shirt? It kind of looks like hidden Mickeys. It's not specifically, but I always think that. Do you know why the National Theatre production of Follies isn't available on NT at home? I don't really know what goes into deciding what's available on there and for how long. I'm sure there must be licensing.
Apologies, I do.
Don't apologize.
I believe that's because of the Follies film that's being directed by him.
Oh, sure.
So I think because Dominic Cook's directing the film, it might be off. They might have taken it off for that reason, or not put it on there yet because that's in the works. And then maybe after the films come out, it might return again. But that would be my guess, is that because they're working on a film, that's happening. You all okay?
There you go. Yes. When's your wedding? That's a great question. Great question.
Thoughts on the Paddington musical? I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I like Paddington. I could see it working very well.
Who doesn't like Paddington? Who among us?
There's enough things now that it'd be easy for them to make the story on stage, and I feel like I'm intrigued to see. Like, I know Tom Fletcher's been writing a lot of family musicals already, and I kind of would like to see the Crickets that's going to South Bank to see like how he's been writing like music for the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And like Luke Shepherd, I don't know, it all feels very like it's going to be cool. I'm more intrigued with how they're going to do the design and the work of it and what the scale is.
Yeah. Are you seeing the new UK and international touring cast of 6? Hopefully at some point. We didn't when the last cast took over, we didn't plan to see that cast, and then we ended up seeing them in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So hopefully at some point, but I have no idea where at this time. Why didn't you see Oliver at Chichester? Because we were always going to wait for it to come to London, is the answer. Give it the whole time to do its regional run, and then we'll see it in London.
Yeah.
Because that's just easier for us geographically. It used to be easier to get to Chichester, and now it's a little bit harder. Will you be seeing Patti LuPone at the Coliseum in Feb next year? Tickets are expensive. I don't know where we are in Feb. Half the reason I don't book stuff in advance is because I don't know where we're going to be, and I don't want to block out dates that we might end up traveling. Because Brian, that's an oversimplification, and I never used the word hated. Get back on your elliptical. Where was I? Patti LuPone at the Coliseum. Yeah, we've done a lot more traveling recently, and so I don't tend to book stuff very far in advance. And I've seen Patti LuPone in concert before at the Leicester Square in a much more intimate setting than the Coliseum, and so I feel like I was treated to that, and this would be from much further away. Even if you're at the front of the Coliseum, it's huge.
Coraline the Musical is happening. It's happening next year.
Yes.
Regionally.
Yes, regionally. I've been
for a tour.
Like
Leeds and
Coventry.
Yeah, multiple theatres.
Yeah. Oh my God, hey, I'm Bruce Perry, a house manager at the famous Arena Stage in Washington, D.C. If you're ever close, I would love to give you guys a VIP tour and give you tickets to any show. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Yes. Feel free to email or message us somewhere more substantial than this comment. Otherwise, we'll forget and we will lose your name and contact information. But yeah, feel free to get in touch. Would love to meet you if we're ever in DC. And I think we will be. We've tried a couple times recently to get to DC.
Yeah. We're gonna go with our friend Ashley.
I think invariably it will happen.
It will happen.
What is your favourite theatre in the south of the UK?
You'll always have a soft spot for Southampton.
Yeah, I grew up going to the Southampton Mayflower a lot.
I do like the Theatre of Brighton, but I've just not been that many times. It's very cute.
Yes.
I saw a play that goes wrong in that theatre, which is perfect.
Yeah. Apparently, Angela Weber bought an old art building somewhere in the 50s street in NYC, rumored to open in March. They're casting now. I've seen the same rumors. I'm intrigued, and as soon as there is considerably more smoke or actual fire, I will talk about it. Can't wait to hear when you're in NYC. Would love to see you and buy you a drink. We'll be letting you know very soon. Do you think they're going to cast a name for Nina in the Thomas Ostermeyer production of The Seagull, like Amelia Clarke in the Jamie Lloyd production? Does the role really need a name actor? No role, or very few roles, need a name actor. Does the production need a name actor? No, because it has Cate Blanchett. The production's going to be just fine. They can cast whoever they want. So I sort of hope they don't, but it'll be interesting to see who they do cast.
I believe, yes, I think Choir of Man do stage door. It will be at the front of the theatre.
Yeah. They'll tell, the staff will tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
Are you guys excited for Lin-Manuel Miranda's new concept album, Warriors? Yes. Lin-Manuel Miranda's working on a new musical? That's exciting. Everyone should be excited. Do you think the production of Hello Dolly could go on tour around the UK? I hope so. And I don't see that set in the Palladium and think, oh gosh, this would be hard to tour. The Travelator, that's a challenge. But the rest of it, I don't think is so huge it couldn't tour. And I don't think Imelda would do it, but Bonnie Langford is my pitch. Post Les Mis, Arena Spectacular, Tentacle Spectacular.
Any advice for people moving to London? I'm moving Saturday to go to drama school. Adam, I hope you have an amazing time at drama school.
Have a great time. Prepare for the weather.
My advice if you're moving to London, as somebody that moved there very quickly and lived there for 2 years, is try and find like places in your local part of London that can feel like a home and that you can spend the day. Like that area that you have like places that will feel homely and like feel like your like area. Because I found I think once you find like places that you feel really relaxed and at home in and that you can relax in, that's great. Because London is very busy and very non-stop, and finding that is very good. Also, is it true that you can film bits of a show as long as if you post it on social media? So, with the Choir of Man, Okay. With the Choir of Man, you can film. That is a rule. You can film. But you can only film for about 20 seconds at a time. Very short clips. If you just film short clips, it's all good. That's just the rule with Choir of Man. You can film during the show, but just short clips. And if it's gone too long, an usher will tell you shorter. And that's the rules.
I was told approximately 30 seconds, so I started counting, and at around the 17-second mark, someone came over to be like, too long. So
I think it's just they get nervous that people think they can go longer. So I think if it's just short clips, you're all good.
Yeah. Had the pleasure of working on Starlight during rehearsals. What did you think of the show? Loved it. Thought it was great. Thought it was great. Starlight for a new generation. Is it the most high-octane version of the show that exists around the world? No. Is it the biggest version of the show that exists? No. Is it less likely to permanently injure many of its cast members? I think so.
I think it's very fun for the new generations. Like the links, like it feels like a Mario Kart version of Starlight Express, which is very fun.
It has more scientific legitimacy, and that's important to me as someone who doesn't understand science. Brian, no, you're being facetious. Which shocking to all of us, I know. What were the ones about to come up here? Before COVID, I heard If Then was rumored with Carrie Ellis. Yes. Would it work now with sad musicals?
I think that's not the hardest part about that show. I think the hardest part about that show is like just how it struggled on Broadway.
It's hard to market.
Yeah, it's why like it's been so difficult for productions of Next to Normal to happen on Broadway commercially. It's more the concept that's hard. If Then was an adaptation of a movie, it would have been a lot easier.
Yeah,
because at least somebody would know.
Just call it Sliding Doors, the musical.
Yeah, that's the. I think that's more of the thing.
Yeah,
like the holiday is it's like sad-ish, but will work as a musical, but people would go because they at least know it. I think sadly that's the case with some of those. It's just the fact that nobody knows the musical.
I'm intrigued by The Roommate, but honestly I can't tell what the actual plot is about from the media so far. Is it a comedy, drama? All I know is that Patty is there. I think it's comedy. I don't know much about the plot either, but that's very
exciting.
Yeah, and that's quite often the way with, I think, like new Broadway plays.
Yeah.
They don't give away a lot to think about, like, appropriate.
Well, Brian just said Roommate is a comedy.
Roommate's a comedy. There you go.
It gives me comedy vibes. Patti LuPone's wig should kind of hint it's a comedy.
And honestly, that's all you need to know, is that Patty is there. I want to see Suffs again. My lottery seats were front row seats all the way at the side, which was practically under the stage. And I'm 4'10", so I couldn't see much. Still loved it.
I don't know what. I'm sorry.
Ours were just on the cusp
of
like not yet being restricted, and we were second or third row back,
just off the aisle,
like third and fourth in from the very edge of the theatre. But we were the first in line to get rush seats. If that helps at all.
2025 Chichester Festival Theatre predictions. I'll be honest, it's really difficult because the new AD started, and then this year's, because for Cameron had Oliver try out there, we haven't I don't know if we've fully seen what this new era of Chichester is specifically for musicals. For plays, I think we got more of an idea.
Yeah. But
I think it's still kind of I don't think we kind of know what their plan is for Chichester.
Hard to know what the vibe is going to be.
They've not really told us, made clear what to expect every year yet.
I would love it if they would do the music. I think Chichester's done the Music Man before. I'm sure Scarlett Strallen did the music.
And Zizi was in it. The two sisters were in it together.
There you go. But they've repeated shows before. They did Oklahoma twice.
And Summer did a Dance in Distress, which was the new musical. All the Strallens.
There you go. Erin's a Strallen expert. A Strallen aficionado.
No, we didn't see Job, Brian.
Didn't see Job.
It wasn't open when we were there.
I think it was off Broadway, but we didn't go. So there you go. Any news on Newsies returning? And allegedly, there's rumours of a Newsies UK tour next year.
Have we got a favourite regional theatre?
Recently went to the Bristol Hippodrome for the first time. That's a gorgeous theatre. I love the Southampton Mayflower because I grew up with it. I have a lot of time for the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury. I think it's lovely.
I love the Wolverhampton Green because I grew up there, and Birmingham Hippodrome because of growing up there and the rep.
I like the Lowry. I have a lot of time for the Lowry.
I have to be careful here because I've worked with a lot of regional theatres. But there are many all across the country that are fab, and I love how unique all the theatres are. I feel
we like Leeds Playhouse.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Enjoy Sheffield.
Love,
obviously, my faves like Mercury, Watermill.
Oh, the Watermill's very special. And yeah, Mercury's lovely. Salisbury Playhouse.
Very rare.
Always got a place in my heart.
Lots of theatres.
All of them.
Yeah. They all have, I think
New Victoria Theatre in Woking, where I worked.
We're very lucky, I think, that in the UK, so many theatres have their own identity.
Mhm.
Like we've become fans of like the Middle Sonning, where you can eat and then watch a show. Dinner theatre, but not dinner theatre in the auditorium, but very, very fun.
Yeah. We're seeing Why Am I So Single next week. We saw the workshop and we both loved it.
Good morning, Philippines.
Good morning, Philippines. Nothing rhymes with the Philippines. If it's good enough for Sunset Boulevard, it's good enough for me. Didn't see Oliver at Leeds Playhouse. Tried to, couldn't line it up.
He's not doing the 24 musical again this year, sadly.
No, it's not happening this year.
But we have hopefully fun plans for the weekend.
We do, because it's my birthday weekend.
Woo!
Going on my first European theatre trip to Amsterdam to see Robert Ickes, The Doctor. Any advice for a first-time European theatre novice? Get there early is always good advice.
Sometimes it takes a bit of time to get used to where things are and how it
What the
happens.
vibes are in that particular theatre.
And from our experiences so far with European theatres, they have massive foyer space and places to explore inside the theatre as well.
Thank you, Jake.
We haven't been to the New Vic Theatre Staffordshire yet, but I've heard great things. It's very cool because it's one of the few in the round theatres that exists in the UK.
What show would you say has grown on you both the most in terms of underwhelming first impression to loving it now? Oh, there's definitely
yours is
answers to this.
Hadestown.
Mine is... Hadestown's grown on me a lot. I didn't dislike it ever. I think it went from like a high 3 to a 5.
But that's kind of what that is, underwhelming. It's not hating, it's just
yeah,
it didn't hit with you.
There's things I actively didn't enjoy the first time around because I wanted them to be better, and then once I knew that that's what it was, like I think if I saw Here We Are Again, I would enjoy it more. I think so. I enjoyed The Wizard of Oz more at the Palladium than I did at Leicester Curve because I'd set my expectation level, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on stunt casting where the actors clearly do not fit their roles? My opinion is I think we've gotten a lot better, producers, casting directors, as a theatre industry, of doing good stunt casting. There is still stunt casting. We need stunt casting. Stunt casting has become a financial reality on Broadway and in the West End. But we were talking about this the other day, and we were watching a comparison video on YouTube of like the stunt casts. You may have seen this. The stunt casts versus the non-stunt casts. And I don't think we've had many like really egregious, questionable stunt casts in a really long time.
I also think sometimes somebody can become famous and people forget that they actually started in musical theatre or like in drama school they were very theatre and just their career took them away from it. And sometimes I think people can react like, why are you doing theatre? And it's like, well, that's actually what they train mainly to do, or what their passion is. I mean, if you look at the people that were in for the Sondheim, the Student Performer of the Year for the Sondheim Awards, you'll be surprised how many big Hollywood names are in there. Erin Doherty was.
I was literally thinking this.
Performer.
I saw this in the program of Death of England the other day.
Taron Egerton, I think.
Taron Egerton, yeah.
So like they had a big history of being theatre performers. It's just, I mean, it's like when Hannah Waddingham finally comes back to the stage. Will people forget some people forget that was her home.
Yeah. Why do you think the Les Mis arena tour is not going to London? Do you think it will announce the last minute date? Because Les Mis is in London, I think. The
only thing I could see it doing is like culminating there after doing the whole world tour and then coming back.
It could, but also we just had all those staged concerts in London for what felt like years.
I think it's not really. This international tour isn't about the UK. It's about,
if you wanted to see Alfie Boe and Michael Boe, and there's other great people in the cast who you wouldn't have necessarily had the chance to do. But if you wanted to see Alfie Boe and Michael Boe do Les Mis, you had the chance within the last few years.
Which Hannah are you talking about, Brian?
Yeah, Brian, will you explain? Do you have any predictions as to who will be cast in Old Friends on Broadway alongside Bernadette and Leia? That's a good question. That is a good question.
Hannah Waddingham's doing Strictly Come Dancing.
Hannah Waddingham is not doing Strictly Come Dancing.
They announced the lineup and I didn't see her name.
I'm going to Google this. Hannah Waddingham, Strictly Come Dancing. Was rumoured.
But they announced who the
Yeah, I'm sure
were.
they've announced the...
They definitely announced them because I know that they filmed. They filmed their pairings already. They've all been paired up.
Well, there you go. Yeah, who else will be in Old Friends on Broadway? I hope Raul Esparza is part of it somewhere because he deserves to be. I'm just trying to think who the other like iconic Broadway Sondheim performers. When is Galileo? Does that preclude him from doing Old Friends? Also, a lot of the Old Friends casting here, it was some like Sondheim legends, but it was a lot of Cameron McIntosh's
people who had a relationship with Cameron.
So could see that as well.
Bruce is back, who was from DC.
Bruce says, DC is awesome. Kennedy Center Arena stage. Yes, would love to visit.
Yeah.
Would absolutely love to visit. Please do send an email and we can chat about it. Saw the first preview of The Roommate. I would describe it as a character study, but it's way funnier than those words usually indicate.
Oh, interesting.
Good. Yes, Heathers is coming back to New York. Paloma Diamond. Why were you commenting with Paloma? What was Paloma Diamond in answer to? And please tell me it was who should be in a revival of Gypsy.
Oh my gosh, we made it to the bottom.
I know.
2 shows you think are overdue for a revival and 2 shows. I don't want to talk about shows for closing.
Nothing's overdue to close.
No. Well, because I feel like there's so many people who haven't seen that show, like regardless of what it is.
I don't think there's a good
Ragtime.
Ragtime is overdue for revival, so is In the Heights. I don't think there's a good track in Old Friends for Mandy Patinkin.
Rent in the UK.
Because he'd have to do the Jeremy Seacombe Sweeney track. Yeah, there's not a Mandy Patinkin track.
It's tricky as well because Bernadette and Leia have the majority of stuff.
I don't even know if there's a good Joshua Henry track. Like, the makeup of this show is quite specific.
Yeah.
Gavin Creel could end up being the Gavin Lee type and do a male Could I Leave You and do part of like Everybody Ought to Have a Maid.
It's mainly like a specific age of female performers.
The men, it's very Hugh Jackman-esque Old Friends. It's very that style of cabaret. It's sort of kind of moments of it are very based on Side by Side by Sondheim, the old Sondheim review. And someone will have to do Sweeney Todd, of which, you know, could be Matt Doyle, not a million miles off. Brian Darcy James, sure. That kind of ilk, definitely. It's not going to happen, but I would love to see Stephen Pasquale involved somehow. That's a great shout. Aida needs a revival. Aida, Aida's
it's like people like Andrea Burns are kind of the type of like area of people in terms of age.
Yeah.
For the because there's a lot of female tracks that are kind of there where you can play a wide range, but it's kind of, I think of it as kind of a moment like of the red dresses for some time moment where there's a bunch of kind of names that have songs, but then Leia and Bernadette take massive chunks.
Yeah.
So like, because Leia does Gypsy and does The Witch and does Mrs. Lovett.
Yeah, I don't imagine that Joanna Riding or Janie D or many of the West End cast will do Broadway, because I think there'd be the expectation on Broadway that you're going to get like Sondheim All-Star. Neil Patrick Harris would work very well, but I don't know that we'd get huge names because Bernadette and Leia are going to be the stars.
Yeah.
And the show is built around them being the stars as well.
I think maybe I could see Cameron bringing in some people that like have not been on Broadway for a while, and it'd be more of a surprise that they're back. So like, think of people that like Broadway would be shocked are back.
Laura Michelle Kelly.
Yeah, like something like that. Like people that are.
Rala Sparser would be perfect.
I wouldn't be shocked if Scarlett Strallen appeared.
Oh yeah,
because that's somebody who has a relationship with Cameron, is in America.
Yeah.
And would be like kind of a surprise back on the stage.
Raoul would get to do Sweeney. Raoul and the Jeremy Seacombe track would get to do Sweeney with Salonga, and that would be excellent. Is the Years West End transfer happening? Funny you should ask. We were speculating about that very thing. The Years from the Almeida.
But we just don't know that much about it.
No, we neither of us saw it. So tell us more about the Years. Do you prefer shows to UK tours / Manchester, then West End, or other way? Not a lot of things tour and then go into the West End, but certainly a regional tryout.
I like either tryout regionally or off West End run to then try and go to West End and then tour. Because I think the issue with the tour then going into town is that a lot of people across the country will have already seen it. And I think it's very difficult in a creative process. How much time? Also because it takes a very long time from a tour starting to a tour ending. And I feel like by the point that the tour's finished, you can have, like, people will think it's a very old show. You lose that newness of the production. Yeah. But then I'm very happy that a show like Amelie worked to do the tour before going to town. But I would love that production to come back. 20-sided tavern announced for Australia. That's so fun. Oh, I heard about this. I was told in advance that was going to be announced. And you didn't tell me. My goodness. Do you know, this is a little bit shady. Not really. But I was just thinking, Michael Cerveris. And I was like, no, he's doing Tammy Faye. Do you know who would be great in the Gavin Lee track in Old Friends? Andrew Rannells. Andrew Rannells would be very. He's not done a lot of Sondheim, but like in his like post falsettos era. But the thing is, sometimes Old Friends. He'd be great in that track. If it's anything like here, kind of, it's not like there needs to be enough people that have a history or knew Steve, but it doesn't all have to be people that worked on Sondheim shows. My joke was Gavin Lee. Yeah, Gavin Lee could also may also definitely do Broadway. My joke was about Old Friends in the West End, that it was a cast full of women who knew Sondheim, worked with him, did several of his shows, and gave iconic performances in multiple Sondheim productions, and men who were available because it was the women in the West End like Janie Dee and Joanna Riding and Bernadette. Josephine Gabrielle. And the other one, yeah. That kind of track. Yeah. Clement. Yeah. And Julia Mackenzie co-directing. Did I say Clement and it wasn't Clement? Claire Bird. Claire Bird did it. The other Claire. Yeah. But yes, very intrigued to see. What about Jonathan Groff in Old Friends? Jonathan Groff's trying to do the new musical that was spoken about. He's workshopping other things. Hey, Mickey, saw the closing night of Sister Act on Saturday and it was fab. And it took ages to get out of the theatre. I got to see some of the Get Out already happened. They were taking out the sign. Oh, they're getting ready for Rocky Horror is going in this month to the Dominion. Need Kyoto from the RSC to transfer to the Soho Place eventually. I don't get to see enough at the RSC, and that's not their fault. It's mine, because it's hard to get back from there. The transport to and from Stratford-upon-Avon is letting me down. I cannot get a train back late enough. It's very sad. Crimpton was talking about that.
Oh, it's not just me then. Is there any news on a Billy Elliot transfer Curve production? Not that I've heard of, but I thought Chorus Line was dead in the water, and that came back years later. So never say never. Someone said Joanna Riding is... Oh, I see. You were teasing that Joanna Riding wasn't transferring. Joanna Riding is transferring. That surprises me, but good for Joanna Riding.
Wait, does that mean is?
Yes.
Well, I wondered whether... I had a thought of whether... I don't know what the dates line up to. Was whether Bonnie would be.
Could be. What Sondheim tap numbers did Sondheim write for Gavin Lee? He didn't, but Gavin Lee taps a little bit in Everybody Ought to Have a Maid. And Gavin Lee can do more than tap. Gavin Lee is more than his tentacles and his tap shoes. Let it be known. At the airport, waiting to arrive in London tomorrow. Excited to check out 40 Towers.
Exciting.
Any thoughts? Haven't seen it. Not my era. Not my vibes, but I hope you enjoy. Also, I was at Stratford on Sunday, lol. We had a few interesting questions here. Is there a track Lin-Manuel Miranda could do? That's not the rumoured show that he's going into. What were your thoughts on the Prom movie? I'm glad it happened.
I couldn't get past 10 minutes.
There's bits of it. There's bits that could have been
I want to try and
better.
watch it again, but I could not. I struggle. I think those things.
I don't think it's the worst, but I think there were casting issues. But everyone who, and I've said this as well, everyone who's ever said like James Corden shouldn't have been doing it, James Corden shouldn't have been playing a gay character, it's really hard to think of an authentic casting alternative because there aren't that many out gay actors of a certain age who could sing well, who have enough celebrity status to play alongside Meryl Streep in this big film adaptation. You have like Harvey Fierstein, Billy Porter, Nathan Lane, who doesn't want to do musicals anymore. And then you're done.
A surprise musical that Mickey's never seen is Sunday in the Park with George.
I've never seen it either. George on stage.
No, and I haven't either.
Haven't.
But there's not been many chances in the UK too.
I haven't seen Carrie on stage. Why do you think Jamie Lloyd, Romeo and Juliet didn't have promo interviews from the cast?
It had already sold out.
They didn't need to. There was no.
They'd sold enough that they didn't bother.
Yeah, they like just like where they can just being artists
and they like the mystery. It's why Nicole never performed any of the songs for promotion.
Yeah. What part do you feel I've lost it. National companies play in the theatre economy of the UK? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by the question.
Oh, that's like subsidized theatres.
Is that what it is?
That's because that's the American wording.
Oh, okay.
Like state, national, like funded theatres.
I mean, we're in a very difficult position with it all now because of all of the Arts Council cuts.
We're different in general though because we have so many theatres that produce work and do that and transfer and because we're a smaller country, you just are aware of it a lot more. A lot of our stuff that go to the West End have been developed at those type of theatres or transfers. Like you see Almeida. You see the Almeida, you see Donmar, you see the National, you see the RSC, a lot.
Yeah. Did Gavin Lee tap upside down on the ceiling, or was Charlie Stemper the first one to do that?
No, the original production.
Oh, I never knew that.
Always.
Oh, I thought
every single birth in history on a Cameron show.
What rumoured show is Lin-Manuel Miranda going into? I just hear things on TikTok. I don't know if they're true. I'm not about to try and repeat it over here, but maybe it's Hadestown. Speculation, someone saying it on TikTok. The Prom film is nearly identical to the stage production. It's the casting I have issues with. It's the casting. I don't know why Caitlin couldn't do the film. Putting that right out there. Why couldn't Caitlin do the film? And why wasn't Jane Krakowski in the Nicole Kidman track? I love you, Nicole Kidman. That wasn't your moment. That was not your time. You can't drop that rumor hint at this hour. I'm sorry. It's happened.
Oh,
that's shocking considering the only Sunday production I've seen live was from the UK.
I feel like I was too young to have watched it in the UK.
It was here. It was on Broadway in like 2008, 2009.
Yeah, I didn't even see my first West End musical in like 2006.
Respectfully, we were 13. So I think some of the finer nuances of Sunday in the Park with George would have been lost on me.
It took me another 5-6 years, even longer, to get into this on time. I appreciate it. Ooh.
Gluten-free bakeries in the Covent Garden area.
Okay, so
he's activated, he's ready.
Let me think. So where's the best places? I mean, donut times around there, they do gluten-free donuts, and they're all wrapped, so definitely will be gluten-free.
Yeah, donut time. Floozy Cookie does.
They are good, but if you're celiac,
they're not celiac.
Like, they're gluten-free, but how they are in there, if you're celiac, like, I see what you're comfortable with. But the cookies themselves are gluten-free. Two of them are gluten-free.
I also want to see Daniel Evans and Edward II.
There are more. I'll think about this and say any more. Oh, a great place for cookies, for gluten-free cookies. Another place is Farmer J, where we went today. The gluten-free cookies are incredible.
Yes.
There's one by Piccadilly, so that's not too far out. And there's a couple that I haven't been to in that area. Leon's also great for gluten-free treats.
Is it true that Paul Mescal is going to star in Great Comet? That is the first time hearing about this.
I have not heard anything
Where
about
on
that.
earth? I don't imagine so. He's too busy making films.
That would be a surprise.
I
don't even know a link with the place or the people.
Yeah, I don't know. As who is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
As who is a really great question. Although the fact that the casting on Broadway went... Brian, stop trolling me. The fact that the casting on Broadway went Josh Groban, Oak, Mandy Patinkin, like, that's already a wide mix. That is a wide... Like, those three people are not normally at callbacks together.
I do feel like jaws are going to drop when that cast's announced. I have very high feelings that it's going to be a very... I wouldn't think A-list. I would think A-list in terms of
musical theatre royalty.
UK theatre royalty, the acting acclaim.
Yeah. I would love to hear Damon sing Orpheus again. The role has changed and progressed in terms of the characterization significantly since the time that he played it, because it changed a lot just while Reeve was doing it. I want Liam Pearce to do it on Broadway. But also, I don't want Jordan Fisher to leave because he's so good.
Yeah, he is so good. I was stunned by his performance.
I've watched the John Doyle Company recording many times. I think it's spectacular. Paul Mescal isn't even 30. No. But he will be at some point during the filming of the Merrily movie. Have we all remembered this is happening? Paul Mescal is playing Franklin Shepherd, a.k.a. the Jonathan Groff part, in the, like, multiple decade-long filming of Merrily We Roll Along for the screen with Ben Platt and Beanie Feldstein. It is a much better fit, but it's an insane concept. It's truly wild. They got, like, a couple of years in, they already had to start over again. It stresses me out, the fact that it exists. Has Comet started any rehearsals? I don't think so. Also, I know the internet calls it Great Comet. Before it was on Broadway, and before anyone else I knew about it, I've been calling it Natasha Pierre. I've always called that show Natasha Pierre, Pre-Broadway, I need you to know this, and so I find it very hard to call it Great Comet. You saw Sweeney Todd with Patty. Oh, I bet that was terrific. Yeah. With Great Comet, I'm excited for that casting to be announced. Do you think Jeremy Jordan will do The Greatest Showman? I don't know. I think he would if the opportunity came his way to do so.
He did the workshop, didn't he?
There's a whole backstory with him doing the workshop and then like not having the opportunity to do the film, and like did he get screwed over there?
Because Cynthia Erivo was also in that.
I think he falls between. I think he reads between the. I think he reads too old to be Zac Efron and too. Well, I don't think he reads too old to be Zac Efron. I think he could be Zac Efron still. I don't think he reads old enough to be
the Hugh part.
Yeah, because he falls between the two for me still. Judy Kay did the tour. Oh my gosh, I love Judy Kay. Would love to see Superbia. Fascinating. I would love for them to let like a drama school somewhere do Superbia, or like and just like in a fun.
I don't know if they had enough of it. I think that's the issue when I read about it.
Put her in Old Friends. Do put her in Old Friends.
It's interesting because, like, I feel with Old Friends, you have to look at I think more than do they have a history with Sondheim, I mean, you have to look, who has a history with Cameron?
Yeah.
And I think prioritize who on Broadway has a history with Cameron for that, because I think that's a bigger... That's kind of the more likely cast is people that have the history.
Yeah.
In the Heights of a Bridge would be incredible, but definitely not heard anything about it. And also, I don't know if... I feel like we're going to be in play territory of a bridge for a while because they're given so much time to musicals.
Who told you Sonia's producing Old Friends on Broadway?
No, it's Cameron.
Where are you getting that?
It's Cameron.
It's Cameron McIntosh. Sir Cameron McIntosh.
The only reason, the reason Leia and Bernadette will be doing it on Broadway is because it's Cameron.
Yeah. Broadway Old Friends is going to be a limited run. Do you think they'll ever put Dogfight on Broadway? I don't know if it needs to be on Broadway. I don't know if Broadway is the right place for Brian. Brian, is this like Hannah Waddingham doing Strictly Come Dancing over and over again? The Wild Goose Chasers you're sending us on. Old Friends Broadway. Manhattan Theatre Club website.
Cameron created it.
Cameron McIntosh's production of Stephen Sondheim Old Friends. Manhattan Theatre Club presents, in association with CMI
and Darryl Roth,
presents Cameron McIntosh's production of Stephen Sondheim's Old Friends.
Is it because it's at the Samuel J. Friedman Theatre?
Devised by Cameron McIntosh. There's no mention.
Is it just because it's at the Friedman?
We'll wait for Brian to explain himself. Yeah, deviser, producer Cameron McIntosh, producing partner Darryl Roth, Sir Cameron McIntosh, I will have you know. In the Heights with actual fireworks was awesome when I saw a bit of it. Maybe LED fireworks indoors or do it at Regent's Park. However, you would struggle to do a blackout. That would be challenging. Do you think Jordan Fisher would do great in Moulin Rouge as Christine? Listen, as Christian. Aha. The Christian Orpheus tunnel is...
It feels very close.
Yeah. Has anyone done both?
Understudy both, yes. Adam Gillan. He was the original cover for Christian in the West End, and he was the cover Orpheus when Hadestown was at the National.
Sonia Friedman is funding MTC's entire season. Okay. Cameron McIntosh is still producing.
Yeah, it's still Cameron.
If there are two shows I'd love to see in the UK, it's In the Heights and Beetlejuice. It's interesting how the shows that like the UK theatre fans want are very American.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the UK shows that Americans are most intrigued about are the very British ones. Like so many people were like, could we get Standing at the Sky's Edge? Could we get Operation Mincemeat? But also our musical revivals of late, like the Sunset Boulevard, like the Next Gen. Well, it is 2 a.m. We have been chatting for some 3 hours now.
Yeah.
I will, with the knowledge that we are going to wind down, send us through some more questions. Some Like It Hot has said it's going to do West End.
So, question for TikTok friends: can we get to the final live goal by the time we end it?
Yeah, what is that?
Just more roses.
Yeah, send us some. Please send us roses. Everything's coming up around us. We all want a next normal cast recording. We all need it. Who's your favorite JD and Heather's? It's really different for each fan. Jamie was great. Jacob was great. Everyone I've seen's been great.
I wish I got to see Dogfight. That's a sad one.
Yeah.
It was okay, but
Judy Kay did nice work on the book. Oh, they're confusing
Yeah.
Judy Kay and Judy Q.
Hi, Abby.
Hello. Thank you. I'm not into. I've seen Six the musical too many times to want to compare casts of anything and be like, this is the best person to do this. Am I the only one who wants a one-woman show on the West End with Hannah Waddingham? Anything on the West End with Hannah Waddingham.
In Boston.
I was quoting. So rude. Would be terrific. Yes, Hannah Waddingham back in anything. I saw everything Hannah Waddingham did before she moved out of the United Kingdom years ago. She went to Australia initially, but I went to see everything that she did. I saw So Her Cinders because she was in it, and I saw The Wizard of Oz, and I saw Kiss Me Kate in Chichester, and I saw Into the Woods. And I was and still am a huge fan.
You are. If you ever got to meet her, you would faint. Or even got a message from her, would faint.
I'd die. How do you experience non-English musicals like without access to the language? It's considerably easier for shows that we know well in English, or we know the films in English, or we have some sort of a basis for understanding. If not, research the plot beforehand. That's what we did for Tan's Day Vampire. Learn the music beforehand if you want to. Yeah. I did that a bit for Wicked in Sao Paulo. I familiarized myself with what Brazilian Wicked sounded like. But I was amazed.
It's not easier if you already know the show.
I was amazed the extent to which I was able to follow it line for line in Wicked, to the point that there were 3 lines added into the show, and I was like, that's different. That's different. And I went to the producer in the interval. I was like, this is different. What are you most excited about regarding seeing Why Am I So Single? To know what the design looks like, because we saw a very bare workshop. To see the choreo again. The choreo is so good. To see some of the Act 2 numbers. Yeah, very exciting.
Hello. Thoughts on the Silent Express arguments on TikTok?
I'm glad you knew what STEX was, because I had no idea.
I think people just have feelings, thoughts, connection to the show, different versions, but also it's a new version, it's for new people, like. And I kind of it gets me when it's like comparing it with a German production, because I'm also like, it's accessibility for different people. Hello, Andy. It has been a long time.
If we were coming back to New York this fall, hypothetically, maybe I've already told Casey Levy that I can't wait to see her in Ragtime and feel like I'm now obliged to. But even if I wasn't, I would be trying to, because that cast. Ragtime would be on our radar. Everything new that's opening, specifically on Broadway, would be on our radar. But also Marla Mindell's Big Gay Jamboree would be on our radar.
Massively. Anything with Marla Mindell.
Everything.
Typing in this chat for ages.
I mean, if it hadn't become clear already, we try and see as much as possible. Especially in the Broadway. That's harder to do in the UK because there are just more shows here. But especially in the Broadway seasons, we really are
Yeah, it's very hard to see everything here.
We saw almost all the musicals in the last Broadway season, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But yes. Would you watch
We have
Cabaret
seen
New York?
Cabaret New York.
We did. We did. I'd go again if it was.
I'd like to
feasible
see the
to
new
do so.
cast.
Yeah, I enjoy Starlight Express. I think people will always be. Brian, no one's asking you. Get back on your running machine. Too much chatting. Not enough exercise.
I'd like to see Floyd Collins next year. I'm also, well, like Harry was saying, to try and see everything in the season, but also I didn't really know anything about the show until it was like its history or anything. So I'm very intrigued.
Haven't seen that many different Marty McFlys in London. I saw Ollie Dobson. I don't remember. It was such a long time ago.
I think it's weird because they're having to be an impersonation. Like,
yeah,
it's interesting with Back to the Future because they're having to stay close to that very specific way, which you don't always get with movie to musicals.
I really enjoyed Ben Joyce.
Yeah,
I thought it was terrific. I just ran 6 miles. Now it's weights time. Well, if you're holding your phone, then you're not holding enough weights. Lovely to hear from you, Brian. Brian said Starlight Express is like Cinderella but with trains. Is that right? No, it's Cats but with trains.
Yeah.
It is Cats with trains because you meet all these different trains and they're having a race.
Yeah, at one point, Starlight Express was like the Cinderella story, but it evolved to not be that.
Mm-hmm. After the Great British Bake Off musical, do you think there's a space for more reality shows turned to shows in the future?
Well, Come Down With Me, the musical, just in Fringe, and now is in London off West End.
Yeah, only...
Perpetrators.
Yeah. They can, if they want to do a funny parody, they can do a funny parody. If they want to have the same kind of, if they want to work on as many levels as Bake Off did, then they need legitimate sincerity, and that is hard to find with a reality TV focus. Bake Off did a great job, not everything does.
And even with Bake Off, it's sad we haven't seen, it had such a hard journey to try and make people realize it wasn't a parody and it was so heartfelt. Yeah. And I think that's what's really tricky.
Yeah.
And I really hope we'll see Bake Off tour or do something more, because that show deserved a lot more kindness from people, I think.
Yeah. Any final questions? I don't know The Hired Man very well. It's Howard Goodall.
I know one of the songs. I know the main song from it.
I know that Aaron likes his pins, but what is your favorite piece of theatre merch? Have some lovely clothes.
I love a good sweatshirt.
And I like stealing your sweatshirts. And I like all of the theatrical plush very much. And we use our cups all the time.
I like when things are unique to shows. That's probably my favorite, when it links with the show, and I'm like, oh, love that, because then you kind of go, oh, perfect. This is a bit of memory. We both love theatre caps. Theatre caps, I think, are big hats. Very handy.
Yeah. Well, I think we have wound down.
Hello, Philadelphia.
Hello, Philadelphia. Philadelphia, PA, South Pacific. How do you think Christian Borle will compare to Andrew Rannells? Very different, but also terrific. I can see him doing it, even though I think it's going to be a different take.
I think Broadway has to be next for Dreamgirls. I think Broadway is due a revival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you getting plans to visit US cities aside from New York? Not currently anything planned, but we're always excited for the option to.
Yes, so Cabaret do now sell Cabaret t-shirts. That is a more recent development. They've slowly started rolling out more and more merch.
They started doing a pin as well. That's very fun.
Yeah.
And they have a different pin for Broadway and for West End, because the Cabaret logo in general is slightly different.
E.T. the musical would be intriguing with puppetry, I assume. Broadway producers can't find an Effie that can sustain 8 times a week. Here is my thing. I was saying this the other day. If people got over their like needing to be the one who wins the Tony for it, could we see a version of it where you could have, and I think Amber Riley could still do it. I think Amber Riley could still play Effie. I think Amber Riley could still read as Effie on stage. Could you have Amber Riley doing 6 shows a week, even 5 shows a week, and Alex Newell do 3?
But also, like in the West End, they ended up finding a model that worked for Effie because
They did like 4 and 4.
Yeah. Well, what that ended up happening after Amber left was there were 3 Effies that shared the role. There was not one lead Effie, there were 3. There was Moya, Marisha, and Karen.
Yeah. I know they've been wanting to bring the Off-Broadway Little Shop to the UK for a very long time. I don't think they've found a venue they like for it yet in terms of the right like size and capacity, because we don't have a lot of those delicious like little Off-Broadway size that we don't have enough other palaces. Basically, we need more theatres like the other palace, like the Criterion, like the
We don't
Arts,
do
like the Ambassadors.
we don't do long running off West End shows.
Not very well. No.
We don't even really see off West End shows extend
No.
like past an initial run.
No, something like Cable Street. It's like great that it's sold out, but it's finite. Brian has just said the word unfortunately, which makes me nervous. Are you going to see the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels concert with Hadley Fraser and Ramin Krimlu? If I do, it's because of Carly Mercedes Dyer, right? If I do, it's because of Carly Mercedes Dyer. No shade to those 2 fantastic men, but Carly Mercedes Dyer is the one that will get me to book a ticket. The Criterion, is the Criterion available soon? I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know. I nearly divulged something then. We are. Yeah, I agree. Yes, Eva, the Michael Cerveris and Zubin Vala sharing roles is objectively very funny. The egos and limited opportunities for plus-size black actresses prevents West End Dreamgirls.
The model that I said.
And Alex Newell doesn't want to do 8 shows a week.
Alex said that at her concert.
Alex Newell wants to do
5 without matinees.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like brilliant talents who you could then bring in as an alternate. There's no shame in alternates. Everyone just needs to get over that. Alex has her Tony, but Alex wants another one for Dreamgirls.
And also, that's like Alex said that she has 2 dream roles, which is which was Osaka and Effie.
And it was not Corn.
No, Disney doesn't own the Drury Lane. As you can see, the Jamie Lloyd shows are going in. The Drury Lane is just such a big theatre and so difficult to sell that Disney are one of the few producers that are able to sell that theatre. Please, will you sing the outro song considering it's the end of the stream?
This doesn't make sense for Aaron's TikTok.
No.
Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching. Have a stagey day. Subscribe. I've been to the Garrick Theatre many times.
Yeah.
Garrick is one of my most visited West End theatres because I went loads when Kenneth Branagh was doing his series there. No, Michael Grandage.
I went a couple of times to see Young Frankenstein there.
I saw Young Frank. I saw the Scottsbury Boys. I saw Red Velvet. I saw Harlequinade / All on Her Own in a double bill. I saw Bonnie and Clyde. I saw Showstoppers. I saw The Crown Jewels.
For Black Boys.
So for Black Boys. It's already 8 different shows at the Garrick.
Saw Instructions for a Teenage Armageddon.
9. I saw the last 5 years. I've seen upwards of 10 different shows at the Garrick. There you go. Cool. I think that brings us to an end. Thank you all for the great questions. Thank you for joining us. We have 101 people still with us on YouTube, like the Dalmatians. Everyone have a lovely day. Have a stagey day.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Australians, enjoy the day ahead of you. British people, go to sleep. Go to sleep. You're crazy.
And Americans, hope you have a lovely evening.
Yeah, Americans, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah.
I'll be posting new videos on YouTube tomorrow, and then lots of exciting stuff coming this weekend, because it's my birthday on Saturday, and I'm celebrating my birthday with you. So stay tuned for that and to find out what we're doing.
Yeah.
Need to start preparing for what we're doing, because it's exciting. It's going to need an awful lot of energy. Anyway,
Gonna be a lot.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Hope that everyone's staying safe. Have a stagey day.
Have a stagey day, everyone. Bye.
Bye. How do I end the stream? I'm still here. Yeah.